Let's go.
Welcome everybody to the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast. I'm Eric.
I'm Lord Manny Hayes.
I'm Big West, y'all.
And I'm Marcus, the grand finale.
Wow.
See, I was going to say introduction meeting. We should have did it, but I didn't know how this was going to work because I almost jumped in. It was like, I'm Marcus, the grand finale right away, right off the bat. And I was, but Manny stepped in. West knew his part, and I kind of just, skated in at the grand finale at the end.
Marcus,
that's why it's the greatest podcast ever.
Let me point out something to you, Marcus. This is where you are. This is the most. Marcus, we established how the opening was going to work last week. The only wrench in the thing was Wes. We said it was going to be me.
How that was going to work. Do I jump in the middle? It was just like the perfect. No. Like if we were playing double dutch. I jumped in right at the right time, and I was like, bang, 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 bang.
Marcus,
hit it off.
Let me tell you something. This is a week I don't have time for your bullshit this week. Let me tell you. The only reason why it worked was because Wes jumped in on that long pause after Manny because you didn't know what you were going to do because you was late for the recording of this show.
Just to let you guys know, I wasn't going to say shit. I wasn't going to say anything. So it worked according to the way I had it all planned out. Double Dutch champion, baby. Boom, 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 bang.
I don't even know what that means, but at the same time...
Oh, no, that was more of a... If you saw my legs, which you guys can't, it was more of a hopscotch that I did right there than a double dutch. So...
It's one thing I can say. I'm happy that we can be on this show and I can bring some laughter and happiness into my heart. This week has been a very troubling week for myself. And, just the news and the things that have taken place in America this week has been just extremely frustrating. And I have been voiceless because I have not known what to say or how to say it. And it was many times this week that I felt that I wouldn't even have the energy to record this podcast right here. If you're not familiar with what has happened in America, in Minneapolis, an officer murdered a black man named George Floyd, where he kneeled on his neck for over 9 minutes, causing multiple riots and things inside of that city. And for black people, even more so, this has been a rough week because this is shortly after the Ahmaud Arbery murder that took place in Atlanta, where he was jogging and he got killed by people who were supposed to be enforcing some type of thing. It just made it really hard to be black in America for the simple reason that you felt like you were voiceless, where the people who were supposed to hire to protect you are also hunting you at the same time. So, I don't know what to say, don't know how to say it, but hopefully justice will be served for Mr. Floyd in this situation. My thought and prayers goes to his family, and hopefully we can provide some type of entertainment for this week in this episode to make the situation feel better. I also want to apologize in advance to AEW because I know my feelings this week has really made me look at AEW in a different way that pissed me off. So when we get to that point, go. Marcus, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I just like that you do AEW into a murder. Like you associated them with the murder of George Floyd. Like, hold on, let me throw AEW in there. They had nothing to do with any of this.
But Marcus, they're helping with the oppression.
Up until the AEW, up until AEW and the police department of Minneapolis murdered George Floyd. I felt like I feel your same sentiments. It's been a very tough week. But the number one thing is all the protests that are going on. I support some of the positive protests, but there's a lot of people out there who's destroying a lot of people's homes and businesses, and some of them are black owned and everything like that. And I think that as a country and as a race, as a community, we should do better than destroying other people's property and looting and stuff. It's not sending the right message. Be angry. We're all angry, probably at the situation. Most people are. But there is a way to go about it. And I believe that we are better as a people than to be rioting and looting in our communities.
And Marcus, what you say is correct. But for me, the problem that I really have in the entire situation is that on my social media accounts, I had no one speak on the George Floyd situation, but I had so many people speak on the rioting. And when you understand that the rioting is because of the oppression people are feeling because they feel helpless because this man was literally murdered and there's nothing you can do to stop him. Like, there were 3 other officers that were at the scene, and no one said, "Hey, stop doing what you're doing." And as a Samaritan, if you're walking by, if I'm walking by, if Wes is walking by, if you're walking by, and you say, "Hey, stop doing that," he's not going to stop because you can't run towards the police. You can't even run and push him off of that man because you run the chance of being shot. And the sad part about being black in America is that you don't know now if the next time you walk out the door might be the last time that you walk out the door. I remember, Marcus, you told me the story when you were driving down the mean streets of Long Beach when you're going to be a correspondent and you got pulled over for no reason. No reason whatsoever except for possibly being black and being in a car with a bunch of other minorities. And then they just let you go.
I thought you talking about the most recent time.
I didn't know it was a more... No.
Remember when I went to go get food across the street, and then because I didn't have a mask on, the cop stopped me. It was like, "What are you doing out and doing this?" I'm like, "Man, I'm trying to get something to eat."
Damn, I didn't even know about that one. Wes, have you
had...
Yeah,
that one happened a few weeks ago.
Have you had any experiences, growing up in Baltimore where it's majority black, I believe?
I mean, we've all got stopped. I got stopped one time, I want to say maybe like 3 minutes from work. I really should have walked to work. The guy was like, "You're speeding." And I had to go to work early. It's probably like 5 a.m. And I was like, "Sir, I work right there." "Well, you're speeding. It's like 40. And you were going like 45. Nobody's out here. Like, dude, like, you just say, "All right, you give me a warning." You say, "Oh, let me give me your license, give me registration." "Sir, I'm showing you my work ID. It is right there. I can get out to the car and walk to work before you come back and give me a ticket." Like, all unnecessary.
Yeah, it's one of those things that Manny may not understand, but the old adage that is used in black America is that when officers approach you, "Sir, you fit a description," and you're like, "What is that description?"
Right.
The description is you're just black. And in so many ways, people always say, "Eric, why do you wear such outlandish wrestling shirts when you walk about and stuff like that?" Because guess what? I know the description was not somebody wearing a bright ass purple New Day shirt, unless it was really me committing that crime. So
unless it's the Velveteen Dream.
Yeah, it's like, what can you say? But with all said and done, and Manny, I don't know if you have anything to say on this because I know you live in London and I think things are a little bit different. I know John Boyega, he went to town on his Twitter. It was like, "Fuck, if you don't support me." He was upset, which was quite interesting. I don't know if you have anything to add before we start talking about wrestling.
I don't know. It's a bit different in England, but like it's obviously still there. It's like there's obviously like some issue. There's obviously like race issues with whether you're black or just any other ethnic minority in England, but it's not it doesn't seem like it's to the scale it is in America. And like my interpretation of what's going on is a little bit different, but like everything that's happened is definitely fucking wrong.
Yeah.
Like that's the main thing everyone should be taking out of it. And then like what Marcus said is the way people are going on about it, how they're handling it is part of the problem, not part of the solution. It's just like you're now giving them reason to do bullshit things to other people.
I mean,
so like,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
So like for my interpretation is like everyone is right to be annoyed and angered by it, but they need to process that into a solution to help sort this situation out rather than add to the problem, because the only people that are going to end up winning in this situation is them rather than you.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where, being black in America, it's like there's a rule book. There's a rule book for America, and then there's a rule book for Black America. And it seems like no matter what we do, we can't do it right. When Colin Kaepernick took a knee to protest, a peaceful protest, people's like, "Don't do that. What's wrong with you're disrespecting the country?" And it's like, what? Then you go another right where you tear shit up. Oh, that's wrong. So it's like, in other words, they just want everyone who is black to sit back and be quiet. As someone pointed out, like the riots in Minneapolis are very similar to when America was sick of the British rule and they started throwing tea into the Boston River, which is still one of my greatest moments in history.
Greatest protest of all time.
I'm just going to throw fucking tea into the river. Fuck your tea. And I'm like, what the fuck? But
the argument with some of the protesters, and like I said earlier, I don't think people should tear shit up, but it does garner the most attention to the anger. Like if people were just walking the streets, the media is not gonna cover that. So, but I do know there are anarchists out there who just doing it to do it.
Yeah.
Like I was watching the news for most of the night last night, and you just see stupid people just doing stuff, and it's just like this isn't for the cause or anything. It doesn't seem like you're angry about the murder or the injustice that's been going on. You just wanted to get some new shoes.
Yes.
And that new couch at Starbucks or that Legos.
No, hey man.
The Star Wars
lamps. Don't disrespect the Lego man. I appreciate that dude for no good reason. This motherfucker was at home, probably been for weeks. Like, man, I really want to get the Star Wars Lego set, but I cannot afford $80. Did he realize?
You know what I think it was?
What?
Not only could he not afford it, is that's not what he actually probably came for. He came for something bigger, but realized one, he probably couldn't carry it with his own arms, and two, probably a big black dude had it, and he was like, I ain't fucking with him. That's LTV, homie.
Nah,
I'm
Marcus.
taking these Legos.
Marcus, that motherfucker right there is a hero. He was at home and was like, I really want this Lego set. Fuck, I really do. And you know what? I'm going to risk my life to go out there and all these mobs. He went right into Target. You know how like when you go into Target and you know exactly you're going to go in, make a right, make a left, and you're going to find exactly what you're looking for? He knew. Yes, Wes, I know my Target. I know when I need to go get some toilet paper, I know I need to make a right.
Wait, you can't make a right in your Target.
I can.
No, you're right. Oh wait, maybe.
You go straight in. Right. You go straight in
Yours
and make that right.
Mine go left.
Yeah.
You're right.
So
you're right.
So
you're
you know.
So
that motherfucker went in, and he probably came in with a crowbar. He was ready to break the glass. He was like, "I'm getting this Lego, and I'm getting back home." And I just want to know that he put that shit together, because I mean, he can't put pictures that he put it together. But I digress.
He can't go back to that Target. They got him on tape.
But there was a white lady on that footage stealing 2 plants.
Yeah,
she was stealing lamps.
No, there was a lady that stole 3 lamps.
The white, it's not worth it. You gotta go big or go home. But
where are your Apple products?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let me get those iPads. Let me get those iPhones. CDs, DVDs.
Like, if I'm gonna put myself out in a riot where I could get a chance to get shot by a rubber bullet, get tear gas, or get killed by a mob, I'm not going for 3 lamps because lamps are fragile. Like in the transport, I could drop one of them motherfuckers and then I got 2 lamps. And it's like, do you go back? Like, it's just.
What if she was hoping a genie was inside it? If a genie was inside it, she lucked out.
Yeah, but I doubt it. It's not in that lamp. Genie's going to high class lamps, not no Target lamps. You got to go to a real furniture store to get the genie lamps. But back to the thing. If you guys want to hear probably the best speech I heard, the mayor of Atlanta, Keisha Lance, had probably the best speech on this whole situation. And then a lot of people are out there because they've been stuck at home too. Mm-hmm. This is the closest thing they can get to a Coachella or a Burning Man. And so they out there partying like it's 1999. I'm serious. If you look at it, because people have been stuck at home, there's nowhere to go. You've been bored. It's just the anger of the coronavirus pandemic, and you have this on top of it. You're just kind of going to lose your mind. And I think, those are the people who are in the wrong, obviously.
If you're out there doing it right, do you have your mask on?
Everybody has their masks on. It was very interesting. Me, yes, because I'm trying to, the tear gas is coming.
The tear gas.
So,
do you know that suddenly became Red Dead Redemption? Just as you're about to do some shit, let's put on.
I never wore a mask until this moment.
He can't see me. He doesn't know who I am anymore.
Wow. With that being said, I guess it's now time to move over to more happier things, and I might as well start the show off with
all elite. You're gonna read on AEW,
Marcus. I'm not gonna. I was actually gonna say something positive about AEW, Marcus. Their pay-per-view, Double or Nothing, was probably the best show that I didn't pay for. I enjoyed their show the way that I watched it.
I love you're incriminating yourself.
What?
Well, maybe somebody else paid for it, and you went to go to their house to see it.
Yeah. Exactly. Were you trying to apply that I call Lincoln or something, Marcus? I am not that type of man.
I did. I did.
I mean, I might have kicked it at Lincoln's house for a minute and watched a couple of matches, but at the same time, I feel like AEW has this relationship with me where if I pay for the product, I'm going to be disappointed. But if I don't pay for it, I can be amused. Manny, do you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah. Marcus, how much did you pay?
Huh?
How much did you pay for it?
I paid full attention to the show and product.
No. How much did you pay for the actual pay-per-view?
Oh, it is. I believe it's around $50 to $60. You know who counts? I don't count receipts anymore.
He kind of watched it with me.
If you got a VPN and then went through a UK channel, you could have got it for $20.
Really?
Yeah.
It still doesn't be free.
That's a fair deal.
Wes, did you even take a chance to try to watch?
$99 is my favorite price for anything.
Did you even try to take a chance and watch AEW, the pay-per-view?
I saw the highlights on YouTube on Monday, which was about 35, 45 minutes. So I saw a good part of the show for free.
Did anything about that show stick out to you?
It was better than I thought. The TNT belt is horrible looking. It's worse
Lord
than
Jesus.
what the Red Universal title used to look like back in the day.
Yep.
I don't understand why they didn't just call that the television title.
Exactly.
Because I don't know. They just wanted to
Because
put
TNT
TNT
got
in
the
it.
money.
No, because that title means shit outside the United States.
It does.
They don't have TNT over there where you are?
No.
Really? Wow.
They have Sky Sports and stuff like that.
Okay.
I mean, because like TNT, it just sounds like it could have been the television title sponsored by TNT, but it to me, I understood the pandemic happened, but I'm pretty sure Cody, once he decided that he was going to participate in that stipulation that he could never fight for the AEW championship, he was Jeff Jarrett in it and making the title. I don't understand what delayed productions of this stopped that title from being made. And if the title wasn't ready to be unveiled, you could have easily said that he won the championship and then maybe scheduled the title unveiling a couple of weeks after when the title could have been ready. I'm just saying, I guess they had to justify having Mike Tyson out there, right, Marcus?
The ugliness of this belt, I don't care about. I don't. Me being a boxing fan, it's a history of ugly belts, and I don't care too much about if a belt's ugly or not. Sometimes the belts just grow on me. It's up to you to make that belt look nice. So I give them the benefit of the doubt that it's not finished and they will make it better. For me personally, it's whatever. It looks cheap. But it's in the process. I'm not going to sweat them on the belt. To me, the 24/7 belt looks better, though.
Wow, and
They're
that's
basically
saying
the
a lot.
same thing, aren't they?
They kind of are, but the 24/7 belt's a joke. It's intended to be crappy, I
Hey,
think.
it's a joke, but I will point out that Gronk cut a hellified promo this week on WWE television about that 24/7 title.
Where he was clearly reading.
Hey,
He would read that teleprompter, and he can't read very well.
hey.
Like,
But his lack of reading gave a little bit more authenticity. I can't even say it, authenticity. There we go. I got it out to the whole his promo.
Authenticity.
So
This belt looks better than that.
what belt he showing up?
That's the TNT title.
oh, is that a concept?
That was the concept.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just the concept. It's just the concept photo. This looks better than what they got.
It does, and that's
Well,
what
that looks like the New Japan Intercontinental title. That looks good.
They should have just had somebody come up, Mike Tyson with a phone and say, man, the belt they come up with protection. So we're going to have to play it.
Hold it up like that.
Just hold it up. This is what it's going to look like.
This is what we were
It'd be
supposed
like
to
that,
have, but we didn't have. So
I like that. I like that one that he's putting up right now. It's looks like a Christmas wreath.
well, I think the thing about that belt right there, that belt will look different than any other title currently in professional wrestling, which would make it stand out more. And I was telling Marcus on a phone call earlier this week, I feel like the TNT championship might be bigger than the AEW championship right now just because Cody has it. And they seem to be marketed because in his own promo, I'm going to do something that no one has ever done before. I'm going to defend this title every week. And I'm like, you worked in WWE when John Cena did that shit with the U.S. Championship. So,
but he said defend that title. Nobody can claim to have defended the TNT title ever. He's making bold claims.
Well, like
he's the longest reigning TNT champion right now.
He is.
Ooh, he's also the youngest.
He is the youngest
and oldest.
My biggest issue about AEW is the way that they determine who's going to be the number one contender. They have rankings, and I'm beginning to believe Marcus when he says those rankings are gone, because it seems like if we need to have somebody challenge for a title, let's just have a battle royal. So they had a battle royal to determine who would be the first person to fight Cody for this title. And Marcus, I'm going to let you speak on this battle royal first, because you took your glasses off and you told me how you felt about this battle royal, because we had 2 battle royals this week. So go ahead, Marcus.
Oh, so let me chime in. Hold on, I'm trying to compose myself. This is what I do not like AEW's battle royals. I really hate them, and I feel like they really need somebody that controls their match. A lot of the time, if you watch that battle royal back, it's just people standing around while people stand in the middle and do their spots. And as contrast, when I was watching SmackDown, I wasn't planning on comparing battle royals this week. Until SmackDown did their battle royal, apparently. And then you watch and you see all this movement and people almost being eliminated. You know, it's a half-ass attempt of somebody trying to get somebody over the top rope. But when I was watching the AEW, it was just people sitting on the ground, people leaning on ropes, everybody separate from each other. It looks like nobody's actually trying to win until it's their moment to stand in the middle of the ring. And I just felt like there was no movement. It was like watching James Harden play basketball. It was like, give him the ball, watch him dribble, he's going to do a step back and stuff, and let him do his thing while everybody stand around and watch. That's what it seemed like what was going on in this Battle Royal, and it happens way too much. And it happened in the casino ladder match, which, by the way, since we did not review on this show, I did not like, and I think it's a stupid concept of doing a Royal Rumble ladder match, because what if I didn't get a chance to come out there and grab that damn chip? It's been outrageous.
That's what my whole point was. Because the 2 members of SCU came out, they both should have just claimed it and then battled it out to see who had a match themselves to determine who fights the champion. It was the most stupidest thing ever.
It's a stupid concept.
As I told Marcus. Oh, go ahead, Marcus.
It's a stupid concept that, to me, I'm going to say this. I want this on the record, Eric. If we have a record, put this on the record.
Okay.
And mark the day. This was worse. That ladder match, the rules to that ladder match is worse than the casino battle. Than the reverse battle royal in TNA, because at least oh god.
Was that the King of the Mountain match?
No, that was just the reverse battle royal. You
gotta break the cage, and you have to hang it's the reverse ladder match.
Yes.
Oh, I missed TNA.
To hang up the title. But to me, this was a worse concept, because logically you don't give everybody an opportunity to win. And then they had the mystery appearance of Brian Cage. I'm not supposed to be talking about the Battle Royal and all, but whatever.
It's okay, Marcus. Do what you gotta do.
Mystery opponent of Brian Cage. What if that match would have ended before he made his debut? It doesn't add anything to. He could have just started in the match. It doesn't add anything to someone coming out every 2 minutes.
I just felt that, as I told you, they could have fixed that match logically by putting one simple stipulation. You can't claim the casino chip until all the participants in the Rumble have entered the ring. You put that stipulation there, then you don't have that whole thing of why didn't Kazarian, Cass, and Scorpio Sky just get the thing and then have a match later on.
But why even do that? Why just not have them all out there? Why do a Royal Rumble style or come out every 2 minutes? It doesn't make sense.
Well, Marcus, they did that for the simple reason they wanted to have a big moment for Brian Cage to debut. That's all that was. That was just...
They could still have their moment in which they're doing the entrances and they're going, oh, here's Darby Allin, here's Kazarian, here's Scorpio Sky, and then here's the mystery opponent. Bang, it's Brian Cage. You still get the same effect.
Wes,
it's not like they have a giant crowd.
The Battle Royal on AEW, how did you feel about the Battle Royal?
I feel like I don't remember how many people he had to eliminate Brian Cage. before he got. I mean, that was eliminated before he got in there. But I agree, everybody should have been in the ring. You could have, had the special unknown person come out last, and then been a big fight, and maybe they would have eliminated him. You never know. But I feel like the logic of a battle royal doesn't make sense, because if I got my buddy, why don't we just fight, eliminate everybody, then we get it, and then we just figure out what we're gonna do with it
later. And then this is where I'm having a really big issue with AEW when it comes to when it comes to representing minorities in the situation. When we get to the battle royal, these are the participants on the battle royal that took place on Dynamite. We have Cole Cabana. We have Christopher Daniels. We have Jungle Boy. We have Luchasaurus. We have Marco Stunt. We have Luther. We have Peter Avalon. We have Brandon Cutler, Billy Gunn, and the only one that is representing any type of minority in the situation is someone who never has a one-on-one match on Dynamite, and that is Sonny Kiss. And to me, that is inexcusable. That's AEW needs to fix and hire me some minorities. Damn it! It's just ridiculous. And then
I got confused when Sonny Kiss was out there because they kept JR kept referring to her as she. If she's a she, is she supposed to be in the men's battle royal? I'm very confused.
Manny, Sonny Kiss doesn't appear on TV enough to know what the character is. I don't know if he's a gay black man or if he's a transgender, or I don't know what he is. But
why not have Pineapple Pete in there? He just wrestled Jericho like a week ago. Have him in there. Oh, his name is still relevant.
I mean, Wes. Oh, go
he's
ahead,
too
Marcus.
busy cheering in the crowd. He's too busy cheering in the crowd to get into the battle royal. Him, Big Swole, the Butcher and the Blade. None of these people apparently want to enter this battle royal at all to be in it. Like there was tons of people that I thought should have been in it, but they had all these jobbers. And again, they do another battle royal where Billy Gunn is the strongest man in the battle royal.
I mean, and I told Marcus this week in and week out that I felt that they really dropped the ball when it came to Shug D. Shug D could have been that individual, could have been that minority that got some type of buzz in the company, because his name got made big during the first tapings of AEW because Jericho made him big. And I know under no circumstances should Shug D ever beat Chris Jericho. But at the same time, you can throw him into this battle royal and give him a good run in there to make him become more credible instead of just a cheerleader on the sideline. And that's what's frustrating for me, because if I'm a young black person, who do I have to attach on to in AEW to really say, hey, if I'm a young Latin person, who do I have to say, you know what, I can see myself in them? You don't have anybody.
El Rey.
Huh?
Who? Ray Phoenix. Pentagon Jr.
Yeah. That's all. But they not on. You're right.
Luchasaurus. I don't know his actual race, but he put Lucha in front of it, so he must be
the fake Latino Sammy Guevara.
No, Manny. It came down to Jungle Boy and Orange Cassidy at the end of this battle royal. Who were you going for in this situation?
Jungle Boy. However, I've noticed, because I watched AEW at least 3 times this week because I fell asleep twice during it. I might have been tired. I don't know. It might have been the show. But every time I'd glance up and watch it, I saw Jungle Boy. But then, if you squint your eyes a little bit when you look at Jungle Boy, right in the face, you see Ronda Rousey.
Whoa! I thought you were gonna say Luke Perry.
No, Ronda Rousey. If you squint your eyes enough, you'll see Ronda Rousey.
Man, I believe in all 3 of your viewers, you were drunk. You were drunk.
I have not touched any alcohol this week, sir.
Wes, were you okay with Jungle Boy winning this battle royal and facing Cody again?
No, I feel like it should have been Orange Cassidy, because he has that kind of persona that it'll be serious, then it'll be laid back, then it'll be serious, and it will get Cody frustrated. Jungle Boy, I don't know who Luke's baby mama was, but he's really short. Like, I didn't know how short he was. Short and skinny.
Luke is really short. He's the same size as his daddy.
Hey, TV
Hollywood makes everybody look bigger.
And let me point out, 90210 made Dylan seem like he was the biggest dude in the world. Like, it was like, fuck yeah, Dylan. Like,
exactly.
That's how you watch the show?
you know, because you knew Dylan was the badass on the show that didn't play by the rules. He was that one dude in high school who was like, fuck a A. You know, like, and then he had the money to back it up.
I thought you were a Brian Austin Green fan myself. He'll be his hip hop. I forget his actual name on the show.
Brandon, Marcus. Brandon.
Well, no, Brandon was Jamie. What's his name?
David Silver.
Oh. With the friend.
Brian Austin Green was the one who was done into the hip hop and stuff.
Yeah, but the friend who committed suicide when they didn't want to pay him to be on the show anymore. And they made it a message.
5% of the cast, right? And then they just all come back.
Yeah, something like that. Well, no, he never came back. Marcus, did you want Orange Cassidy or Jungle Boy to win?
I'm in the minority here. I was going for Jungle Boy when it came down to the end. I thought the match between him and Cody would be good. And going back to Double or Nothing, I believe him and MJF did have the best match of the show. They actually did some really good wrestling and had a real serious match, and I really appreciated that. And I thought he should be rewarded with having another serious match with Cody.
Was that the best wrestling match ever, though?
No, not yet. That would be Edge and Randy Orton on June 14th, or it would be AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan if they're on that card.
Well, at this point, I disagree with Manny and Marcus, and it just shows that me and West are right. Orange Cassidy should have won. Orange Cassidy is the hottest commodity in AEW right now. And
hold on. You are a man that hates Orange Cassidy.
But that man had a match of all. That was my favorite match from Double or Nothing was Orange Cassidy versus Ray Phoenix. I think it was Ray Phoenix. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
No, that was Dynamite last week.
Oh, was that?
Yeah, they were both in the ladder. Ray Phoenix got injured in that match, therefore he wasn't in the ladder match.
You see,
and they replaced it with Mr. Little Boots, Joey Janela.
That's how good that match was between Ray Phoenix and Orange Cassidy. That I thought that shit was on Double or Nothing. You know, I don't know what I was watching, but at the same time, I am all about putting that title on anybody but Cody. I'm sorry, I just can't. I can't have people always talk about, oh my God, Jeff Jarrett doing this, and then you go back and you do the same fucking thing. Like, he can't have a title. He shouldn't have the title. But I digress.
Are we gonna talk about Cody right now?
Go if you want to. Let's talk about Cody.
All right, I'll talk about Cody. This is the thing that made me. This is the moment of the show that pissed me off the most. Cody coming out there with that cheap ass belt. And he's cutting the promo with Shivani, and he's talking about how people don't appreciate his matches or stuff like that, or he's going to work hard to do this. And he said something else. I can't remember what it was, but the entire promo pissed me off. It just pissed me off that he's like, it's just he wanted to play this pity story or something. Just be the champ, man. Stop doing like the whole promo didn't make sense. Jake raped your wife. You never got revenge on it. You won the belt. You seem to be satisfied with it.
So Marcus,
I was really frustrated with everything he was talking about, and that he was not the first pick or the second pick in the company. You were an executive vice president. That means you were probably in the top 2 or 3 people that Tony Khan wanted. It's stupid for him to talk like that.
Marcus,
I know I'm angry at my neighbors. They're probably like, man, I may as well go on protest if I want all this noise going on in my house.
Marcus, let me point out a couple things that he did. He compared himself to Tom Brady. He said that that's his favorite quarterback because he wasn't
Tom Brady.
He wasn't the first pick, but he built a legacy. Then he said that he wasn't the first phone call. He wasn't the second phone call. He wasn't the third phone call, but he was the 4th phone call. And I'm like, you're bitching about being the 4th phone call? Maybe you were the first phone call, but no one picked up the phone. Maybe Brandy sent it to voicemail because she thought it was a bill collector. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, but here's my thing about the phone call. He couldn't have been 4th. First phone call, let's say it was the Young Bucks. I'm okay with that. Whatever. He called them. That's one phone call, probably.
No, Mark, you have to dial 2 different numbers. They don't share phones, man. You have to call Nick, and you have to call Matt. That's one, too.
I'm sure that he was like, hey, Tony Khan want to talk to you. We can have a meeting at my house and do it via together. Whatever. Maybe he made 2 phone calls. If he was the 3rd phone call, you can call Kenny. Kenny was on the contract with New Japan when they were starting to form this. Kenny couldn't come over. So he couldn't have been. Cody is absolutely the 3rd phone call.
No, he might have called Hangman. You don't know. Up and coming Hangman.
Could have been Jericho, maybe. Maybe he called Jericho. But Cody it seemed like AEW was formed at the All In show, pretty much, or before that, and Cody had put all his money into that. So for him to not be one of the first phone calls is stupid. And I just think it's all stupid. I was so sick of his pity party about not being a phone. He's not Tom Brady. Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick and a fluke. He is the son of a plumber, or the son of a plumber. He's Dusty Rhodes' son.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Drew Bledsoe getting hurt and a tuck rule, Tom Brady won't be nothing. Nothing.
No,
he would have never have won. No, I don't believe that for a second, but he would have never have won just for this argument.
You know what? Wes is now holding his mock-up of the AEW TNT Championship.
24/7, baby. 24/7.
That looks like the exclusive AEW tampon, only on AEWshop.com.
And this is why you guys might need to tune into the live stream that takes place on YouTube, because you get to see these little outtakes that you can't do on audio. I mean, Wes holding up this belt makes me go straight to Wes to see how he feels about Cody's promo. Do you agree with Marcus? Do you disagree with Marcus? Was Cody just bitching for no good reason?
Cody was bound to be the champion. I don't know. People are complaining. He has the Triple H syndrome. He has the Jeff Jarrett syndrome. He's that. So he was going to be the champion. So his whole speech, I won the first, second, third, fourth, whatever, holding up his fingers, whatever. My issue is they're having this battle royal, and he's coming out and saying, I'm going to have an open challenge every week. What am I fighting battle royal for? I got been sitting in no way. So I'll just come out next week and be like, I want to challenge.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it easier.
That's true.
If I'm MJF, I'm like, well, I beat you a couple months ago. I should be the champion.
Well, the worst part about it is that MJF did cut a promo that just disputed everything about this battle royal. He was like, I'm undefeated this year, and I haven't had one chance at a title shot. And then, like, why am I even participating in this battle royal? And then on top of that, they're even teasing the fact that they're breaking up Wardlow and MJF for whatever reason. I don't know why. Manny, do you agree with Cody's gripes?
It's just so annoying because like he always, as well as his promo not making that much sense, he decided he had to throw a shot at WWE. It's like, oh, I'm not going to be allowed in Connecticut. No. It's like, fuck off, Cody. Tired of your shit.
Comes back. That's the worst part about when people say I'm never going to go back to WWE. They always end up going back. And right. Vince don't care. As long as he can draw money, he'll bring you back. He brought Bret Hart back and he broke his nose.
And spit on him.
Hulk Hogan testified against this fool.
He did.
I brought him back.
But to go back to Marcus's original point, it's like I still think Murderhawk should have won that belt to carry on the story, because like what they did to Brandy still has not been avenged.
There's a promo that said rape is bad.
And to point out how boring Cody's promo was when they kept cutting to QT Marshall getting chatted up by Ali, who formerly the Bunny, just proving how boring Cody's promo was.
You know,
I have no idea. When did Ali stop being the Bunny?
You know,
like the Butcher and the Blade were sitting on one side, she was on the face side. They're dressed in all white, and he has blonde hair.
It's because the Butcher and the Blade became the Colonel Sanders' sons.
I just want to point out that it was one thing in AEW that I liked week in and week out. That was the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny, and they took that away from me. That is just atrocious. And
well, I believe they got broken up because they were too similar to Jimmy Havoc, Kip Sabian, and Penelope Ford.
Well, since you brought them up,
they were the exact same thing at that moment.
Since you brought them up, Marcus, I might as well talk about them. They had by far my favorite match of the night, And I can't believe that once again, supporting Orange Cassidy to win is almost as bad as me supporting Jimmy Havoc. And I was entertained by Jimmy Havoc in this Kip Sabian Penelope Ford match going against SCU, where Scorpio Sky took the pin for no good damn reason. But whatever, I'm not here for that. Jimmy Havoc laboring around the ring like an old man still trying to find his glory to once again get a makeshift match so he can have a shot at the tag team titles entertain me. Manny, this is your fellow Englishman. Were you happy to see him reach success?
Englishmen won this week.
That's true.
Kip is English as well.
The Englishmen have won, and it was I enjoyed it. I think Jimmy Havoc has turned around how he's perceived on AEW this year, because like leading up to it in 2019, he was just this garbage wrestler.
He was shit.
And it was almost like, yeah. And then they also highlighted on commentary like Jimmy Havoc chooses the hardcore wrestling lifestyle. However, he can do the catch can wrestling if needs be. So like it made sense to put him over a bit more. And then like his record, even though records don't matter in AEW, is really good with like 7-1, now 8-1.
Yeah,
He's won the last 4 of the last 5 matches.
And let me
he's the hottest wrestler in AEW right now.
And let me tell you something. I became a huge fan of him watching Double or Nothing when he came out to the ring in that outfit that he was trying to help Kip Sabian win that title shot in the Cash It In Battle Royal. Wes,
they were the only logical wrestlers in that match because they just did everything they wanted.
Wes, did you care? Do you support Sabian and Havoc being the new #1 contenders for the belt, although the Dark Orders are ranked #1? Or did you think SCU should have won in this?
It had to be somebody. I'm not a fan of Havoc or I would say the lesser known people in AEW, like Havoc and Marty Skrull. I guess that's how you pronounce his name. I'm not a big fan of them. Penelope looks good, of course. They're somewhat entertaining, but it had to be somebody. So why not?
I don't believe Marty Skrull is a part of AEW.
He's an NWA. I think he was thinking about Marco Stunt.
He's in NWA.
What's the guy with the long hair?
Joey Janela?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Little Boo.
Oh, that is an insult in itself.
I don't know that.
That is an insult in itself. That's like calling LeBron James like some white guy. That is an insult.
LeBron James is Keith Van Horn. That's what it is.
Wow. What's the dude on the Lakers there? I can't remember his name. Oh my God, NBA's been going too long. The white dude that always impresses me.
Oh, Caruso.
I can't believe that's like calling him Caruso, the greatest Laker of all time.
Hey, Charlie. Okay.
Marcus, go ahead, speak on this, brother.
I'll get my take. I was really hard on Jimmy Havoc with the start of this when he came in, and his garbage style of wrestling didn't appreciate me. But I feel like him joining Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian has made me care about them more. Because for some reason, Kip Sabian is not, to me, he has no personality. He goes out there, he poses. They did a spot with his toothpick and Penelope Ford, which I thought was for some reason it was disgusting. Even though I know they're a couple, it just still looked disgusting. I don't know why.
It was disgusting.
And it was.
I don't even know what that means.
Disgusting. It was disgusting. I don't know. It was just a little like, it was like, oh, I didn't even see that. Like, I think even JR reacted like, what was that about? So Kip Sabian does nothing for the group. Jimmy Havoc gives it that extra like, hey, it's Jimmy Havoc. He has somewhat of a personality. Everybody else just claims they're super bad. I believe Jimmy Havoc is a bad person.
He is.
The turning point for Jimmy Havoc was when he threw that chair at Orange Cassidy.
He did, yes.
That was the turning point.
The one consistent thing about AEW that I can say has been fairly consistent is Chris Jericho and his inner circle. And
wait. Are we skipping over a lot of other stuff?
No, Mark, I'm gonna hit everything.
Okay. Because we're all over the place. Yeah, I was like, we haven't talked about Moxley.
Marcus, Marcus, let me steer the ship, baby. Let me steer the ship. You gotta trust me, man.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go, baby.
You gotta trust me, baby.
Steer the ship, baby.
So the inner
ship. We're on the Titanic, y'all. Iceberg dead ahead. I want somebody to yell that at one point.
The Inner Circle started off AEW, and for me, they started off with a very good comedy segment for the simple reason that we all know that when championships are held, there's always 2 sets of T-shirts made. The fact that they had a boatload of shirts made that they won the Stampede made me laugh, and to the point where I almost ordered a shirt because they're only $12, except that when I need to go up to my size, they add an extra $4 and become $17. And I decided that I was not.
I'm about to get one.
I wasn't willing. Y'all still ain't got y'all Tamina shirt, so y'all.
Yeah, you're supposed to be wearing Tamina shirts today.
Let me get it.
Oh, Wes got a Tamina shirt. No, he doesn't. Y'all both ate shit.
I told you I get mine after the pandemic because I don't want to waste the postal services on some silly bet. I want them to be able to get the masks and supplies and the tests to as many people as possible. I don't want to waste some time with getting a rare Tamina shirt.
If Britt Baker was here, conspirer.
Yes. So
we even talk about Doctor.
Because we gonna get there, Marcus. Let me get you there. I'm driving the road, man. I don't drive the highways, man.
Eric, if we're on the Titanic, can someone paint me like one of his French girls?
No, we don't need a Jack to paint you, sir. Jesus.
Paint me like one of your French girls.
So I thought it started off well with the Inner Circle being disappointed that they lost, but then you go backstage and we still have this dysfunctional shit with the Elite that I just don't care about. Where Hangman and Kenny Omega is going to go back to the hotel room. Hangman is going to drink. Omega's going to drink milk, and I'm like, why should I care about this, Marcus? Why should we care about the Elite in the Inner Circle anymore? The Inner Circle lost. We should move on, right? That should have been the end. Did Marcus freeze?
No. I made me think like, what was that? I'm sorry. I'm just going to my head. What's that?
What was that sound?
So anyway, I have no idea. Oh, what were we talking about? Is it Hangman and them going to the hotel room? I don't care.
Just to open the segment, like the Inner Circle and the Elite situation.
It happened. Well, it's not the Inner Circle or the Elite. It was more. I cared about the shirts. That was fun and whatnot. But I could care less about the Young Bucks still team with Matt Hardy and him changing outfits and stuff and going to TNA Matt Hardy. I know the difference with my Matt Hardys. That was cold blood Matt Hardy.
I mean, all it led to was the Young Bucks teaming up with Matt Hardy to go against a team that was put together, a trio that was put together that I don't even understand how it makes any sense. Private Party and Joey Janela. And all this match was led to was the fake injury. I don't know if Mark Quinn is really hurt, but the fact that they had to take Mark Quinn to the back, and the next thing you know, FTR shows up, aka the Revival, fuck the Revolt, whatever you want to call them. Manny, did you like how they used this segment to debut the Revival, or how did you feel about the match as a whole?
I didn't really enjoy the match anyway. I'm over Matt Hardy. It just seems like he's trying to recapture something that he never got. But like the car drive-in was a lot better than Cody's because you cut out the whole point of the revving of the car to drive 10 meters.
They had a rev. They had a rev.
No, they just drove. It was a more solid shot. It was a more solid shot than because you had Cody revving that engine for at least 10 seconds.
Yeah. Cody did it for 10 seconds, but they had a rev before they came out.
It seemed more of an impact, but then it was just like you wasted it. Like they didn't have any like interaction with the Young Bucks or anything other than like, let me shake your hand. Nah. But then, like, I don't know. This whole segment, they've wasted it on where they could have done something better.
Wes, how about yourself? Were you happy to see the Revival make it to AEW? Because,
I'm gonna call him Dash and Dawson.
Not Cass Miller and Jack Shepard.
Dash is actually a pretty good name. But I mean, everybody knew they were coming. I was happy to see him, but I felt like it wasn't really. It wasn't because the Elite is Cody and everybody else. Matt Hardy is just that got with the group. Do you feel like it would have been bad if they would have gloated like, "Hey, we won, we beat the Inner Circle"? I felt like I needed that. They just kind of acted like it didn't happen. It was like, oh well, forget it.
Yeah, you had the Inner Circle, like mourning their loss to them, and then like the Young Bucks and everybody, they're just moving on with their everyday life. Like, well, we just fought one of this epic Stampede matches and weird shit happened, but we don't really care because we're here to fight Joey Janela in a private party for no good damn reason. And then Isaiah Cassidy takes a pin when you have Joey Janela in a match that can take a pin for no damn reason. And does it enrage my blackness this week? Because I was on the edge. Marcus, you like the Revival. Were you happy to see them here?
Well, it was a matter of time before they got here, and I was happy to see them here. But the problem, again, I just didn't like the introduction to them. If Cody may not have did his truck spot, this would have been a different truck spot. But because they didn't knock over any trash cans or bike racks, I felt like it lacked. No, I just didn't like the whole how did they know anything was going on? Like, for them to show up at this convenient time and place, it's not like AEW's on radio. Like, there's no way you can pull up and be like, Sky!
No, there was
we showed up right time to stop the Butcher and the Blade.
No, there were so many circumstances that led to the attack. It made no sense because the fact is, if they never went into the crowd and ran into the Butcher and the Blade would have never attacked the Young Bucks and Matt Hardy. So if you take that out, it's like, fine. Okay, so they did. So next thing you know, after the match, Butcher and Blade, they're upset. So they're beating up Matt Hardy. How could you really script the fact that as soon as you show up to the arena, you have tag teams that are in there trying to fight and you can help it takes you out of the reality that you want to try to take yourself out of when you're watching professional wrestling. Like, you need shit to make sense. And I mean, yes, we can circumcise mosquitoes when we get to SmackDown about what they did to Jeff Hardy and whatnot. But I think that was more plausible than the FTR showing up exactly when it is. Marcus, don't make that face.
Maybe they were looking at their app or something. It was like, oh, let's watch Dynamite in our car together. And then they were like, oh man, they're getting jumped. Someone's beating up Kid Ray. Let's pull up in our car and save him. That's more believable than what happened with Jeff Hardy.
But then they just left. It was like, why did you even show up? I'm like, okay, fine. Then after that, we had Jon Moxley. He came down to the ring. He talked about beating, the Brody Lee. And then next thing you know, it's time he's going to sit there as Brian Cage, who they promised me a match on this week. It was supposed to be at Fighters Fest. It was supposed to be Brian Cage versus Jon Moxley for the title on Dynamite, but they said that all over Double or Nothing, but I'm not going to even hold him accountable. So Brian Cage destroys Lee Johnson, and then we have this promo where it just felt awkward.
A black man.
It was, Marcus. And this whole this promo and the exchange between Cage and Moxley, I don't know, it didn't work for me. It just came across forced. I think I was maybe more taken aback by Lee Johnson getting pinned, and I was trying to explain to Manny early because, he's from England. He doesn't understand the race dynamic. But when you have a company like AEW where you don't have many minorities in the first place, week in and week out, every minority keeps getting pinned. And this night was no different. It really just cheapens the perception it just implants into your mind that maybe the black or minority performers are lesser than the other performers on the show. And that bothers me. And so,
who's that? Who's this for you? Okay, I'll stop. All right, I'll stop.
I have my run.
I'm not gonna talk about race anymore.
I have my run in, Marcus. I have my run in. What can I say? But I just thought that Brian Cage and Moxley, it just didn't work for me. Marcus, what about you? Speak on this, brother. Speak.
I was fine with it. It's Taz came out there. And I've always loved catchphrase, beat me if you can, survive if I let you. I feel like that's the best catchphrase in the history. One of the best catchphrases in the history of wrestling. And so Taz with Brian Cage. The problem with me with Brian Cage and Taz is that it's just too similar to Jake and Lance Archer. They just did this. And I just feel like Moxley's just running through people, all the heavyweights, because I don't think Brian Cage is going to beat him at Fyter Fest. Maybe he will, but I just feel like it's just the same dynamic. Moxley hasn't had a story since Jericho took his eye. He's just kind of just fighting the next guy. Like, he went to Swagger, and it was just like, oh, we had this match. Moxley says the hardest fight of my life. All right, he fought Luke Harper or Brody Lee, and he's like, oh, that was the hardest fight of my life, and he just moves on, and there's no prolonged story. Like you would think that the Exalted One would come back for revenge, or Jake Hagar would come back for revenge. He hasn't had a rematch, and he's just going through just seems like their entire heavyweight division on top. And then on top of him being champion, I feel like he's more of the mid-card champion. I don't feel like he's the heavyweight champion of the show. He never closes the show. That's always either Jericho or Cody or something. He's just always just thrown in like some weird second segment right before the women's match, probably.
So Mark,
and it just seems like he's just there.
Moxley alluded to it on the AEW media call after Double or Nothing, that like his last two matches with Hagar and Brody Lee, were like just 3-week builds. He's looking forward to working with like Cage, where it's more probably going to be like a longer build to it, where it's something that he can get his teeth stuck into. Because like you lose interest when you do get these 3-week builds, because they're just a blow off kind of feud, where it's just like we're fighting, let's just throw something together to get to the match.
Well, that's good that they noticed that at least. That it just seems like he's just getting matches thrown at him. Like his matches seem no different than Cody's open challenges on a weekly basis. Like it just seems like he was just like, oh, Moxie's fighting this person. Moxie's fighting. I would like for him to have a story. Like him and the Inner Circle had a good run. They had a solid run of taking each other's eyes and him going through the entire Inner Circle. Like it had a nice build to it. I don't know how they can stretch him and Cage out, because I don't think Fyter Fest is until September. I don't know how they're going to stretch this out until September though.
September? I thought it was in like July or August or something. You know.
Nah.
Let me find out. Fyter Fest. I
think it's in September.
I'm pretty sure June 29th.
Oh, is it?
No, that was last year. That was last year. My bad. Looked at the wrong thing.
Oh.
2020.
2020, man.
Hey, you know, sometimes
I'm trying to figure out when we're gonna get. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, because I'm still looking for Fyter Fest.
I'm trying to think which show we're gonna get the first champion versus champion match. You know, Moxley versus Cody or whoever the TNT champion is at that point.
It's gonna be on a random Dynamite when Moxley challenged Cody in an open challenge match, and he's gonna just walk out and be like, "Oh, what? It's Moxley Cody," and they're gonna have a match, and it's gonna kind of just blow off. Since Cody can't win the title anyway, it can happen at any point.
So to piggyback, Marcus is right. September 5th is when Fyter Fest takes place. Wes, say something, then I have a question for Manny.
Is he going to challenge him at Fyter Fest, or does he just have a championship match? Did they say he's going to fight him at Fyter Fest?
Yeah, it's supposed to be at Fyter Fest.
Okay.
I believe Taz said Fyter Fest.
He should be in the title picture. I will come out there and threaten him maybe like once every 2 weeks or something like that, but you don't need to worry about it. You got your title shot. You don't need to worry about whatever Moxley is doing right now.
Because
you go fight somebody else.
That's exactly what I was going to say, because Manny brought up something like there has been no actual build for any type of title match between Moxley. And Marcus said it is like people just pop up. Now we have this Brian Cage situation. He came in and he won a gimmick battle royal to become effectively the number one contender for this title. It would have been more effective if you would have had somebody else win this battle royal. They go on to fight they fight Moxley, they lose, but then Brian Cage shows up and attacks Moxley right then after the match. Then you have a more organic build to a match instead of this guy just showing up and grabbing a chip and now he's the number one contender. I mean, I just feel like it would have been more of a better debut if he would have attacked Moxley after he defeated, let's say if Scorpio Sky won the chip. Then, you know, that would have been a better story. It would have been more organic than, oh, this guy just won the Money in the Bank, for the lack of a better term, and now he's going to fight him at Fyter Fest, and now we have to get this fake build-up for anger that doesn't exist. Manny, is that kind of like what you were trying to say?
Yeah, it's just like the last two matches almost felt forced. Like Hagar was just like trying to avenge Jericho, and it just didn't make sense for them to have that type of match. And then the build to Brody Lee and thing was just stealing his title. And it was like, if you wanted a match, all you had to do was ask. Which proves just so many things just with this battle royal for the battle ladder royal match for the chip to become number one contender, and people stealing titles. It just proves that the rankings don't matter. And while they're trying to proclaim to be a wrestling company and not sports entertainment, they have jumped 2 feet into sports entertainment, because that's what it's been like for the last month. So they are basically they're WWE light.
They are balls deep into sports entertainment. They are not a wrestling company. The only wrestling match that I got on this week's Dynamite was that tag match involving Jimmy Havoc and I don't even remember who they fought. Was it Best Friends? I forgot who they fought.
I will tell you.
SCU.
They bought
SCU.
SCU. That's right. The other jobber tag team. But yeah, so that was the only real wrestling match I feel like we got this week. Everything else was either squash matches or I mean, I guess we can talk about Sheeta squashing and getting pushed to the limit, but she got pushed to the limit.
By Brazilian Nikki Bella.
Yeah.
So
by knockoff to Nara Conti.
So Britt Baker came out, and Britt Baker gave us the 3 rules of being a role model.
She only gave us 1, the 3rd rule. I never got 1 or 2. It was just like the 3rd rule to being a role model.
She said she was gonna give us 3 rules. The rule number 3 was don't hurt the role model. It was don't hurt the role model. I was like, okay, and then like. For me, the best thing about this whole entire promo was that she called out Aubrey Edwards. And, you know, I don't like Aubrey, so it makes sense. Wes, did you like Britt's promo, although she can't fight because she's hurt now?
I love Britt's promo because, to me, she's hacking off of what Bailey's doing. So, her calling herself the role model is wonderful. And she's, like, dirty and out there in a wheelchair and yelling at her assistant, and I love it. And yelling at, what's his name, Tony Schiavone? Man, she's wonderful. She's the best thing about the AEW women's division.
That might be true. Oh, I like Sheeta. I like Sheeta in her new outfit. I think her wrestling attire that she debuted, although, as Marcus told me when we were watching it at Lincoln's house, that it could have been it could have been a tribute to Hana. I don't know. Marcus, Britt Baker, is she the one to give us the tips of not being a role model? Of how
I'm ignoring your question because I don't know what you're telling me. But,
thank you.
Oh, because I have no idea what that question was. I was like, is she the one to be the role model? And I'm like, what? What am I supposed to answer that? But if her and Bailey can just somehow do the Dragon Ball Z fusion technique and become one wrestler, it'd be really appreciated. If Bailey could be Britt Baker's, have her mic ability, and Britt Baker can wrestle like Bailey, we will have one of the best women wrestlers that ever exists. With that being said, the whole conspiracy, she's gone. She's the only woman they let talk on the microphone, and she's going to be gone until all ends, she said, with her torn, whatever her injury is. So she's gone, and so they have lost all mic time in the women's division. That's it. And that's a big loss, I feel like.
To be fair, though, if you only got sound bites from Nyla Rose, I think I'd be pleased. Like what you got at Double or Nothing. Always bet on black.
Bitch, I found your stick.
I found your kendo stick, bitch.
He's literally playing Mark Henry. We're saying like 3 words when she's talking shit on the outside. Like Mark Henry said like 2 things. And he's like, that's my ring, punk. I'm like, oh shit, he's
Wes,
Devo.
You look like you're chopping to say something.
I'd rather have Nia Jax than Nyla Rose.
Ooh.
Here it is.
Ooh.
What?
He rather have Nia Jax than Nyla Rose.
Get back and watch this.
At least Nia will hurt you intentionally and unintentionally. You're getting hurt either way.
But technically, Nyla Rose did not hurt Britt Baker. Nyla Rose was just a recipient of a bad placed body slam between Sheeta and the Statlander.
Eric, you weren't listening to Britt's promo. She blamed all 4 of them for being conspirators.
You were not listening to this thing. Damn it, that should have been my background.
I need next week the ref to come out and plead her case. What's the referee's name? The lady, I don't know.
Aubrey Edwards. That was one of the best things about the whole Stampede was when Chris Jericho threw the flag and they went into the booth. Although that was the concussion protocol booth, but whatever. I let it slide.
The presentation that Britt Baker had was better than Drew Gulak's PowerPoint presentation that we never got.
I don't know, man.
Well, you ain't this presentation. It's always the best page. It's always like, this is the PowerPoint presentation. You see like Braun Strowman or somebody.
Well, Sheeta was taken to the limit, but she ultimately won against Christy James. The thing that really was kind of weird for me about this episode of AEW is that everybody that lost, with the exception of the Inner Circle, was not on this episode. We got no Nyla Rose. We got no Brody Lee, although we got the representative for the Dark Order handing Cole Cabana a sheet for whatever reason. And
join us.
Yeah, it was like, dude, you haven't been on TV since Brody's been there, so why are you back now? Like, I just, this show just felt like it was all over the place.
I feel like the Dark Order's in two different shows.
And then,
that was?
Where's Sean Spears at? He lost too.
Yeah, Sean Spears did lose. He didn't even dress. He challenged Dustin to a match, but didn't even dress for the match. I'm like, what's the purpose of this? And
hey,
then,
come to AEW, things will be different. Unless your name is Sean Spears.
And then we end AEW with a Inner Circle Pep Riley, which I don't even know how to. Pretty much, it's a segment that they have done before where they give each other's gifts and things of this nature. But the only difference was that you had Mike Tyson and his posse of pretty much legendary fighters in their field that no one was introduced except for Victor Belfort. I mean, you know, Sugar Bear Rashad Evans was there himself, and like no one said anything. Maybe because he was black, and you don't mention black people in AEW. But that's another thing.
Kudo or what's his name? Cujo?
Marcus,
Kojo?
I'm
Whatever
trying to.
his name is. Cahudo?
Mark, I'm trying to keep my narrative going. Okay.
Okay.
So this thing was like you had Mike Tyson in the ring, and for me, it just felt like it was my drunk uncle at a family function that had too much to drink. Next thing you know, he took his shirt off and he just wanted to start fighting everybody. And then he couldn't even take his shirt off right because that's how drunk he was. And that's the only vibes that I got. Like, as Wes, did you get? Because I mean, Wes, you've been to a family reunion that had that uncle that can't get his shirt off, but he wants to fight everybody.
If you're gonna pull your shirt off, rip your shirt off, have the little cut right here,
Yes.
or the little cut in the bottom. Come on, y'all. He pulling it off, and they looking at. I could tell they looked at it for a second. Was like, you can't get the shirt off. Like they was looking at it. That's why they came and cut away, pulling it and ripping it, and it's hanging off. Just like, come on, man, you better than this. That's what I thought.
Marcus, are
and
you?
Then, I don't know.
Oh, go ahead, Wes.
I don't know how all they were lined up together, but they were lined up horrible. Like Jim Ross was like, somebody turn and face the camera. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Did y'all not practice this?
In other words,
Of course they didn't.
They didn't.
Go ahead, Manny.
I feel like it's just trying to recapture that magic from, was it 1998 with Steve Austin and Mike Tyson?
Tyson Austin.
No, well, Chris Jericho is still mad about what Mike Tyson did to him on January 11, 2010. The worst part about that is that, I'm sorry, Chris Jericho, we're revisiting something that took place in WWE, a company that you guys are trying to set yourself apart from. You cannot continue to reference the original content. Like, if you're going to do this Mike Tyson story, we should have did it in WWE. You don't do it in AEW. Simple as that. But at the same time, I don't know if your biggest draw, who is Chris Jericho, going against Mike Tyson is going to give me what I need to have at Fyter Fest. Marcus, is this what you want?
Okay, so here I'm going to chime in right here, and I want to get real serious right now.
We asked you to chime in. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I'm going to chime in anyway.
Let me get my disciple.
I'm going to do the two chimes. I want you guys to get your thinking looks on, all right? Eric, you got the two fingers? Yeah, there we go.
Oh, wait, so if Manny's
right.
going to do that one, I'm going to do the Austin Theory, where he just grips his fists together. like that. That's what I'm gonna do.
Maybe go full CM Punk and twist,
No,
twist the ankles a little bit.
we're going to Disciples of the Messiah right now. So go ahead, Marcus, speak.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait. I'll do Disciples. Hold on. I got a glove.
Oh.
I got a mask.
You killed Rey Mysterio, you bastard. But all right, so let me chime in. So since the beginning of AEW, the main character of the show has been Chris Jericho. He's been the most entertaining. Him and the Inner Circle have been the main reason why I continue to watch this show. Everything they've done is hit. This is the one time I felt like it felt like a rerun with the pep rally because I felt like they did the gift exchange already. They already did something like that. I think it was for the holidays. I don't remember.
No, it was when he was feuding with John Moxley, when he was trying to recruit John Moxley to the Inner Circle.
I feel like they did this another time too after that.
Oh, they did it once where his dad was in a box or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. So they've done this a few times, and I feel like this time it didn't work, and it was just all over the place. And then this point of there not being cheese in the cheese platter or champagne in the bottles or the little bit of bubbly that Mike Tyson and his crew, I'm assuming, are we supposed to assume they drank it or ate it? I have no idea what was going on with that. And I thought that when Tyson come out, he didn't have, since they don't have anything scripted or didn't tell anybody what to do, Tyson's like trying to thrust at him a little bit in the beginning and talking shit. It was like, you stole the title. Like, everybody seems to be all over the place. The announcers didn't seem to know who any of the MMA fighters except for Vito or Belfort, which, if I paid for these fighters to appear on my show, you better call them out by name. And if I'm one of the fighters, I'll be really upset that I was not shout out. Like, imagine in an NBA game or an NFL game, you cut to somebody and the announcer goes, I have no idea who that is. It's really like it's a bad look. If you're going to put somebody on your show, you need to tell people who they are. Because the only thing we got is that they're either Mike Tyson's entourage, Mike Tyson's posse, or as Chris Jericho said, Tyson and his thugs. It's you got no interpretation of who these guys were. And if it's going to be Mike Tyson guys versus Jericho guys, that's just pay-per-view, you have to build that up to it. And then they do this pull apart, and they have like 90 people come into the ring or whatnot in a damn global pandemic where people are trying to social distancing. No one's wearing a mask. There was no heat behind it, and I feel like they've wasted their money with Mike Tyson and all these MMA stars completely because this is getting no outside of wrestling buzz because the only highlights is Mike Tyson yawning in the middle of the show at Double or Nothing in the middle of the Cody match, and then Mike Tyson not being able to rip his shirt off. That's all you got from all of this. But it's the biggest waste of money ever, and AEW should be ashamed of themselves.
But Mark,
I feel like going
at the same time though, like the only promotional value that has happened is in wrestling circles. It didn't make it sports. It didn't make it to Sports Center. It didn't do anything else. This is just it's just such a waste of money. And like when I watch AEW, I'm like, man, you guys are blowing through a lot of money doing a pandemic era. It's like you need to cut back. Like you got Marco Stunt getting pyro. He doesn't need pyro.
Why does he have pyro?
I don't know.
I don't know. But with that being said, you know how they're not getting any media attention with this match. I felt like it devalued Mike Tyson, who was on the uprise. Like, I felt like you were getting all the, the training videos, and he's like, I'm back, and he's up to like $20 million offers to do some bare knuckle fighting and all this. And like, Mike Tyson has some buzz around him, but when he was on this show, I was just like, that's just another guy. And then him chasing Jake at Double or Nothing meant nothing to me. And if you really want to get controversial about that one, it was someone that raped Brandy Rose being chased off by a man that was convicted of rape. I'm just saying that's extremely controversial that no one thought about.
Wow. And everybody was focusing on the pool segment with the Powerful and Pride and Matt Hardy.
With that being said, the Stadium Stampede is probably my favorite match of all time. It was a lot of fun. But it was like that was the peak of the Inner Circle, and now it seemed like they fell off.
It was fun.
It was like that was it. That was the big ending of that.
It was fun, but I thought they could have trimmed the fat a little bit. Like the Hangman story about him riding in the horse and stuff like that. I didn't need that.
I like the horse. I didn't need him and Jack Swagger to take a drink together.
No, that looked. I thought that was a funny angle. I just thought, do you know what? If they both weren't bothered to fight and it was just them in the bar while the rest were fighting, that would have made. I would have laughed at that even more.
If Kenny walked in, like, what are you doing?
I think the question that we're not asking ourselves is how long is it taking for Matt Hardy to change his clothes? Because he's changing it a lot.
I don't even know.
I mean, how much time they have with those tapes. I mean, because they got the most time. The Pride and Power for Matt Hardy in the pool and the controversial drowning of Matt Hardy in the Stampede, which I didn't find that controversial, but I can see how people could be offended by it.
People could get offended by it, but you've also got to remember life does also go on. Like, yeah. And the show, and unfortunately, the show does go on, and life does go on. We should be celebrating Shad, not being saddened by his demise of how he died, but celebrating his life.
To me, the people being upset about this was the same people being upset about the Orton and Edge match when Edge was Orton was choking Edge with the weight machine. No one is thinking about these tragic incidents of Shad drowning when they're coming up with these spots, or Benoit hanging himself on the weight machine. No one's actually thinking about those spots when that's happening. Like, oh, you know what? You know what? No one really. But people, if I hung you here, people would think of Benoit. Or if I drowned Matt Hardy here, oh my God, we're compared to Shad. It's a completely different situation. If they were on a beach and Matt Hardy was drowning and he saves Vanguard 1 or 2 or whatever number they're on, then you'd be like, wait a minute, that's ridiculous.
So, Marcus,
this was just like he wanted to change clothes.
So I have a question for you. So do you feel like that is one of the biggest detriments to wrestling fans, is that wrestling fans hold on to the past too long? Like they can't let stuff go?
No, the biggest detriment to wrestling fans, they want to bitch about everything.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, well, well, that's what we've done this whole AEW episode, and I just know that we were probably in the minority in the situation. Because wait
a minute. I praised Jimmy Havoc. Don't you say this was all negative.
Okay.
And you praised Orange Cassidy.
I did. But at the same time, I think that I didn't really enjoy the AEW show that much, but I know other people did. But I mean, to each is their own.
It was just a show. I didn't hate it. Hate's a strong word. I disliked it.
Okay. Manny, as you said,
that I disliked the show.
Well, I hate that it was nothing on the show to keep me interested enough from not falling asleep, and that's how I judge my wrestling. Because I remember I was watching it, and the next thing I know, I fell asleep, and I woke up, and it was at the end. I was like, shit, this is not good. So
you fell asleep too?
I fell asleep also. I fell asleep also. So something I did not fall asleep on, and I normally don't do this, but I think we need to start off with WWE programming, and we need to start off with something that really caught everybody's attention this week, and that was the main event on NXT, the Fight Pit.
Oh, we're talking NXT.
Oh yeah.
Well, Marcus, because this was to me, this was the number one moment of the week, was this match right here. This match, everyone always complains about WWE not giving people anything fresh or any new ideas, but Manny's background on his video shows that this was a completely new idea. This was like a new match that they thought of trying to put MMA and wrestling in the same thing. And then the two participants in the match delivered. Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher put on a great match with each other. Since you have the background, tell me, how did you feel about that match? And just, did it make you happy?
It did make me happy. It also made me laugh when Kurt Angle had no clue what to do the moment those teeth came out.
Yeah.
Like, he's just holding them, like showing the camera like his teeth fell out.
Check this shit out.
But then I was just like, I love this concept, and it's just like, it brought me back to the days of Steve Blackman, Ken Shamrock, when they had their own Lions Den match, where it was like a really bad octagon.
Ball octagon.
And then, but this was insane. Like, they were going at each other, they were choking each other out, and it was just like, workplaces need a fight pit. Whether it be for a promotion or someone stole your food in the fridge, that is what you need, a fight pit. Of like, Kenny in accounting, I am gonna fight you tonight.
I just feel like
you don't want to lose your employees though. Like if you had a fight pit at your job, you're gonna lose Kenny. You may lose Kenny in accounting or Manny in HR. So we don't want to have to choose who went down like that.
But
like,
Marcus,
we got to sacrifice accounting,
but Marcus,
or we got to sacrifice HR.
But Marcus, if Kenny in accounting is still in lunches, he deserves to get his ass beat, and that's simple as that. I'm sorry, because I hate to say this, but more and more people. I didn't realize how many lunches get stolen on a day-to-day basis in the workplace. And the worst part about it, and you can tell this is a personal thing, they always want to blame the fat guy. That, Eric, are you taking the lunches? No, I'm not taking the lunches. Why would I take your fucking lunch?
This is why I buy my lunch. I never leave anything living in a fridge where other people can potentially consume it.
See, what I liked about the Fight Pit match, though, I thought this is where the announce team did a great job of explaining what was going on, and they gave meaning to everything in the match. They explained that it was either tap out or I think it was knockout to get the win. They explained why there were platforms around the ring so they can get a better angle of the shot. So I think having that little bit of an explanation to it, and then even having that realism of Kurt Angle not knowing what to do when Thatcher's teeth got knocked. When he picked up the teeth, he's like, here's a teeth. I wanted someone to hand him a glass of milk and be like, here's a glass of milk, and put the teeth in there so we can reattach them. But he didn't. Marcus, what did you really enjoy about the Fight Pit?
Oh, I think the entire thing. First to look at the cage. When I first saw the image online, it's like, this is what the Fight Pit's gonna look like. I went, oh, that's different. They look like they're gonna be fighting in jail. But and then just the physicality of it, the brawl, the seriousness of it. It seemed like this blood feud escalated to this, even though they've only been feuding for like a week and a half or so. But the anger was there, and I feel like both men brought it. It looked like a real fight, not having ropes or I think turnbuckles. They didn't have turnbuckles as well, and that they just had to fight, and everything worked logically, and it looked like the closest thing to an MMA / wrestling match, like fused together, and I really enjoyed it. And to me, they topped their previous match, which was I think 2 weeks before, and I was like, man, they really delivered on this match, and I look forward to seeing other Fight Pit matches, and I think it made both Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher both look like stars. And it was a big deal. It was something completely fresh. Remember how I said the Stadium Stampede was probably my favorite pandemic match? This may have been my favorite pandemic match.
Shane is definitely gonna go in the Fight Pit.
Wes, do you want to see more Fight Pit matches going on, or what?
I think the next time you should do it should be a while. It's just like the Boneyard match. Don't have it too much. It was definitely something that caught your eye. I was looking away and wasn't paying attention. And I turned and looked at the ring. I was like, oh, what is this? They had the balconies with the refs up there, and they're climbing up and jumping off and doing all this stuff. Some flippity doos. Hey, the teeth in the ring were the best parts of that match.
Yeah.
Eric, into the commercial break.
Eric, I'm going to ask you a question.
Into the commercial break.
So, if you had a fight pit at work, and the person talking about their kids made you snap, you take him to the Fight Pit?
No, because that to me, that was not Fight Pit worthy material. That was just me having a very bad day.
So is that hit them with a monitor type of deal?
No, that's just more like sabotaging their way out. Like you put you put obstacles for them not to make their life easy. Like a Fight Pit, you really gotta really justify it. Like Wes said, this should not be something that is done over. It should not be overdone. Like we should maybe have one pit match once a year, maybe every couple of years, and it has to be with the right participants. I don't want them to do what they to the Fight Pit, what they did to the Elimination Chamber, where the Elimination Chamber just became a match that happens every year. Because when the first Elimination Chamber happened, it was like, oh my God, this is special. This is something nice. But now it's like you have the Royal Rumble, then you have the Elimination Chamber, and then I don't want it the next thing to be like we have the Fight Pit. Although I would like to see people duke it out, but I just don't want to see it too much. Like it worked for these two people.
It seemed like it's a very complicated structure to put together for a fight pit. Like, it just seemed like, oh, we're going to do a pay-per-view show. All right, we're going to have one fight pit match. It's going to take them hours to set that shit up.
What in your everyday life would be fight pit worthy? Like stepping on your white shoe, we going to the fight pit. Talking about your mama, we going to the fight pit.
That's how they do it in the streets.
I don't think it'd just be one thing that takes us to the fight pit. I think it just has to be a number of things that escalate it to the fight pit. Like
levels to the shit, Marcus. Right. Levels.
It's levels to this shit.
Yeah,
it's levels. But there could be things in which you're just like, all right, they stepped on my shoes today. He can say sorry. All right, you bumped me this day. That's cool. All right, fuck you. But you know what? We're not there yet. We're not fight pit yet.
Okay, so where does fight pit rank against you're having a match against the Undertaker?
Yeah, that's when you just piss off management.
That's if Teddy Long is your manager.
It's one below the match. That's what the fight pit is.
Yeah.
All right, so I just wanted to talk about the five pick, so we need to go back in order because talking about NXT outside of the five pick doesn't make much sense until you talk about Raw because Charlotte was, all over the place on all shows. And
can I jump in and say NXT is a completely different show than AEW? It
is.
And I don't even know if they should be compared because where AEW feels more like a comedy show, they take shit really serious on NXT to the point it's just like, man, they got to fight in a fight pit? They serious?
Yeah, there was no comedy at all.
People gotta lose teeth over this shit? Like, people gotta die today?
No.
Like, that's what I feel like. Like, Drake Maverick situation is like life or death. He's fighting for his job. And then you got a fight pit later. And it's just no comedy. It was straight up like, we're having a wrestling show. This is a sporting event, and we're taking everything extremely serious.
We're going to come back to NXT, but when I said the name Charlotte, Wes rolled his eyes. Wes, are you tired of Charlotte on your television?
She's on every show. There. I think she's gonna make an appearance on this episode.
No. Well, I would love to have the Queen on the show.
Come in, you gonna see her. Like, gee.
Eric had his run in. Wes, you gonna have your run in. I have Charlotte coming in later on tonight. She's gonna be knocking on the door and be like, "Hey, I'm on this show too, and I'm defending my title." I'm like, God damn, it's crazy. It's crazy. She working too hard.
I just felt like the whole opening of Monday Night Raw with Kevin Owens, Charlotte, Asuka, and Nia Jax, I didn't need it because we already knew they had a match. So why did we really need to have this segment to promote this match? And then to make matters worse, it didn't even lead into the match. It just like, we're gonna have you guys talk about this, but we're not gonna have the match right now. I'm sorry, it wasn't even. It was Charlotte. It was not Asuka in the match, but you guys know what I meant. Marcus, you're a big Kevin Owens fan. Isn't it a better role for Kevin Owens than hosting these type of shows?
Yes, but there isn't there is a better role for him, but there isn't a spot for him. If that's hard to say right now, I don't know where to fit him in. He's not going after Drew. He is currently a babyface. Bobby Lashley's going after Drew. They have that. Messiah, Seth is busy with his shit and, killing Rey Mysterio and threatening Aleister Black in hostage situations and shit.
And orchestrating fake retirement ceremonies.
Yeah. Booking a retirement ceremony for somebody that you tried to take his eye for might be one of the evilest shit things you ever did. There's the U.S. title. Apollo Crews what title is it? U.S. title, Apollo Crews.
U.S. title.
Just captured that, yeah. So he can't really fit right there. I don't feel like there's a spot for him right now. And I don't think this is like a punishment thing that he's doing. It's just, I don't have a character for him to like clash with right now as a babyface. Okay. He needs to go heel or something needs to be reworked to fit him into the brand because it seems like right now there's not a spot. And I was trying to think, like, what else would he be doing other than this? And there's nothing that comes to mind. Because Randy's with Edge, and everybody has the game plan. Like, it seems like they have Backlash planned, and he came out in the middle of trying to come back in the middle of this Backlash promotion, and there's nothing available right now.
Jonathan Washington in our chat room, he says he is good at doing shows, though. I mean, he does do a good job of hosting the shows, and I agree with that point. The fact when he stepped out the ring, he was like, hey, I understand that you guys are quite combustible, so I don't want to be a part of this if a cat fight break out. I know he didn't say cat fight, but I agree with that. And Marcus, you're so right. They don't really have anything for KO. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for WWE because they have so much talent. I think it leaves more thing to having maybe possibly an off season. But Manny, I think you're on my same team. Are you tired of Charlotte too, or were you okay with her opening up Monday Night Raw?
Whoa. I am not tired of Charlotte, by the way.
Neither am I.
I need to be on more shows.
No, she needs to be on 205 Live, main event,
Mismatch Challenge.
Can we
AEW Dark, being the elite.
Impact Wrestling.
She serves her purpose and she does it well.
Now, Manny, I'm going to ask you this question because right after this, the match between Andrade and Apollo Crews took place. I will say that this match made me feel good for the simple reason this was probably one of the best organic builds for Apollo Crews to capture his first championship in WWE. And the fact that they finally put a microphone in front of him and he's not as bad as I thought he would be on the microphone.
I honestly thought he was going to be worse.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't understand as Marcus puts the fist up in the air. I don't understand what took them so long to recognize the potential that Crews had. Or I just, I hate to see Andrade lose, but at the same time, I think Andrade is destined for bigger things.
I think it's I don't want to say it's just because of the pandemic, but because the pandemic is there and the whole roster isn't around, more people are shining out and stepping out of the shadows of other people. And Apollo definitely stepped out and showed what he can do. And I remember many people saying how this is bullshit when he got injured and was taken out of the Money in the Bank. But I feel like that was probably the best thing they did by taking him out of that, because then he didn't have to take a stupid L for no reason and being in basically a spot show for that match, and then eventually lead into something with a bigger story and had more of an impact.
Wes, what about you? Apollo Crews winning a championship, how did you feel?
I mean, I think it was good. He was a champion, he's in a stable, whatever. But he wasn't doing nothing with that ugly U.S. championship. They need to redo it. So having Apollo doing, you can have people chasing him, and Andrade, and he can be mad, but he needs to be in the title picture, or at least fighting. He can fight Drew. They had a good match, I think, when they were at NXT. Like, Drew had good matches with people when he was at NXT, with Adam Cole and with Andrade and with some other people. So let them fight now.
Marcus, Apollo Crews did it for the culture. How do you feel?
Well, he did. I'm going to say I'm really happy that he won. Hold on, I'll hold this up the entire time talking about this. I'm really happy that he did it for the culture and that he won for the black delegation and brought the United States back to me. Before we go into that, Apollo Crews still, like, I enjoyed his promo at the end of the match. I can't hold this up all the time. I enjoyed his. It was distracting. I enjoyed his promo at the end of the match, but I don't feel like Apollo can give consistent good promos. Like, I've seen him in the back. I feel like it's like the script of the WWE and everything that goes along with that. I feel like it's going to be harder to have him do really good promos. But I thought he put on a really good match with him. But he still needs to do a different finishing move. That backflip or the standing shooting star press shouldn't be able to knock anybody out. I'm just saying.
No, that was that might be the worst finisher in the game. He needs to go back to the powerbomb. But with that being said, I thought that WWE checked all the boxes. I love that he was cutting his promo post-match. I mean, this is a big moment. I think they should do more big moment, more big moment post interviews. Like, that's what we do in big fights. What I enjoyed even more was like while Apollo was talking, you go backstage and you have Andrade destroying the backstage, area, because it showed that title meant something to him, and he did not want, this fluke victory to get over him. Because I'm assuming next week we're gonna have them fight again. I'm not sure, but we'll see.
Probably Backlash.
He didn't defend that title since like February.
Well, it's not his fault he failed a drug test and then got hurt, okay? It's not his fault.
Then you talk about promos.
Before we go further, what do you guys think of the crowd and the plexiglass? We didn't bring that up because that was the one thing different about this Raw.
Wes has
Let me start this off. First of all, that was the best looking plexiglass crowd because the opening, their graphics were kind of shining off the plexiglass, so it made it seem kind of more important. Yeah, it was reflecting off. But the fan cam of the week, sponsored by the Intruder, Summer Blockbuster, is my girl. Your girl, Marcus, is goon number 2, Miss Jessica Duke, in every audience shot.
Oh man, I'm that fan. She got more TV time than anybody in the history of Monday Night Raw, maybe of television this week. In the history of wrestling, no one has got more. People tired of seeing Charlotte. I'm tired of seeing Jessica Duke. She was on 3 hours of Raw. She was on NXT for 2 hours. She was on SmackDown for another 2 hours. Jessica Duke was on every single show, and she got way too much TV time. I'm just saying, people need to get off Charlotte back because Jessica Duke has worked the hardest schedule of the week, standing up for like 10 hours straight.
I want to
Shotzi got hers as well.
Shotzi as well, but she wasn't in every shot. Jessica Duke was in the background of every shot, standing next to.
Oh, and that giant Asian dude. The giant Asian dude was in every shot as well.
Yeah, the Chinese guy.
The one that didn't know how to do yes properly. He was like.
I mean, Caden Carter was also in the shots. There was a lot of people that was in the shots, and there was so many more people we didn't even know who their name were. So it was a very interesting mix. And when Jim Ross took a shot of having fans in plexiglass, I was like, what, being safe is not a good thing to do? Fuck you guys at AEW. I'm sorry, I'm still a little bit salty about them. So,
well, I think as you brought up, the plexiglass is probably going to happen anyway when they actually start bringing in real fans into either the performance in our real arenas, just to stay safe.
Let's just say Wes can't stay, man. Let's just say hockey has had plexiglass up for a long, long time, so it's all that matters.
No, that's because you don't want to get killed by a punk.
Hey, whatever.
This is when you don't want to get killed by somebody's droplets, as they call it on the streets.
So Seth Rollins, right after Apollo Crews was
it adds to the matches. That's all I wanted to know. The NXT crowd adds to any of the matches to you. To me, it was like, it was fine. It did give it the energy, but it did feel fake.
Yeah, just like as we mentioned in the mid-card mess, it was like, make noise for your jobs.
Yeah. So you gotta let them. They gotta figure out how they're gonna cheer, who they want to cheer for. It's like, if you want to work, you need to make noise, and we're not gonna give you.
Well, the thing is theirs. Theirs was too robotic. AEW's is too wild. And they need to find a mix because Big Swole was going to take a swing at Lance Archer. And I think Lance Archer should have just started hitting people because they were all up in his face and he didn't seem like a monster. It seemed like the bully was getting made fun of by all the kids in school. And like, just shut up, guys.
Marcus, they actually had an exchange with each other on Twitter, which was kind of funny. I just don't remember it, but it was.
Lance Archer shouldn't be funny. He should be a killer.
No.
He should have killed Big Swole.
No, Mark. Big Swole clapped back at him. It was. I don't think he ever responded.
He stopped clapping back at the Monster Heel wrestlers.
So Seth Rollins, he cut his promo. He talked about the sacrifices that he made and how Ray is so important and whatnot. This dude is delusional, and I love every second of it. Right, Marcus?
Oh yeah, he's playing delusional. Cult leader pretty well, and then he had his boys speak on right after him, and they'll preaching his rhetoric about being found and how he saved their life, and I was like, man, go on with your crazy shit.
Manny, do you have anything to add to
It's a
his
good
promo?
thing he doesn't have his theme song no more though. Burn it down and
It was great. I loved the whole thing where he's gripping the mask and he's just like, ugh, I had to do it.
I had to. You're welcome, Ray. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
And then like it's the thing about Raw, what they're really doing, they're checking all the boxes of keeping their storylines consistent and you know the continuity straight, because yeah, we want to keep following the Ray and Seth and then continue with the storyline. We get the Iconics who come down to the ring, and Billie Kay needs to explain why she slapped Peyton Royce. And I was like, this was the explanation that we all needed in the situation. And then surprisingly at this point, Nikki Cross comes out and she cuts it. Like, this whole segment worked, and it involved two people that I really don't care about. And I appreciate it. Manny, you're an Iconics fan. You and Marcus do the Iconics pose every time I say Iconics.
Iconic.
There we go.
Talk about getting your heat back when they beat the shit out of them too.
I mean, they were a joke up until that moment, and then they was like, you know what? We're gonna.
I forgot. He did say he was gonna have wardrobe changes. Jason Jordan just popped up.
Jason Jordan.
There was a Jason Jordan sighting this week.
Yes, he was.
We got American Alpha on both shows. Both of them returned. Chad Gable had a match. Jason Jordan was in the back fighting a drunk Jeff Hardy.
And his daddy Kurt was there.
Oh, and it was like a family reunion. But the Icons getting their heat back was dope. And they were evil, they were vicious, and they had enough of this bullshit. They ain't playing.
Well,
we didn't even get a you gotta be joking me.
But
they weren't joking this week.
But the greatest thing about the whole thing is that it looks like they're finally taking the women's tag team title seriously, because not only are the Iconics going after them, but then you have on SmackDown where Bayley put Sasha in the match against Alexa Bliss, and of course Sasha won this match. But next week we're gonna get a tag team title with Mark. Are you laughing at them drinking and stuff, or are you thirsty?
Yeah, that we all should just take a drink.
Well, okay, well shit. We've been talking for a long time.
Podcast. Let's call it that.
Wes has been kidnapped again.
He gotta go get something.
No, window. I'm here.
Let me ask a question. Did you guys, since Wes is back, Wes, did you enjoy MVP's promo to Drew McIntyre about how we're not going to touch you until we get our contract signed and we get what we're looking for? I thought the storyline between MVP, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley, it's really working for me because it's finally hitting on what we needed to have happen.
Right, I'm not going to run in there and fight you, and it's about the money, it's about the contract. Why waste my energy? I may get hurt doing something, foolish.
Yeah, it was smart.
Let me get them papers together, and then we can fight.
Was this the segment? Oh, go ahead.
MVP can get Bobby that line of king. No, that's what MVP can get Bobby the line of king.
I prefer this segment with when he came across the Street Profits.
Oh no, that was great because I think everyone in that segment thought it was gonna be something else, because pretty much he went out there, y'all out here shucking and jiving for the man, what you doing? And then of course
you end up like him. You gonna end up like his broke ass Bobby Lashley.
And then like Montez, he 13 years. And then Montez Ford had to clap back. It was like, oh, your face looked like it's clearing up from that Claymore kick that you took to the face. I'm like, what? And then my favorite part about this is that it's two segments where people were going home. MVP and Bobby Lashley was leaving the building, but then the Street Profits kept their ass there. And then there's a letter on segment where Drew McIntyre is leaving the building, and then Caleb Braxton come in there, hey, you hear about what the main event's gonna be? And then Drew McIntyre's like, yeah, I'm gonna hang around for that. It's like,
we got 4 black people in the main event. Oh, I gotta see that shit.
Yeah, it's like, what y'all talking about?
But no, with both segments,
come on now.
With both segments, I preferred the first segment because it had a nice contrast of MVP talking about how it's been 13 years since Bobby Lashley has had a title shot, and Drew McIntyre's contrast, which is right for being a babyface that's not bitching and complaining about his life. It took him 19 years to get a title shot. period, in his whole career. So I thought that's a good contrast, and I think Drew's doing a good job as champion. Bobby and MVP are doing a good job. MVP just seems to be and I don't, no pun intended, but kind of MVP of Monday Night Raw.
If he didn't have that run-in with the Street Profits, would there have been a main event tonight?
We just don't know.
No. We would have just ended the show. But the only reason they had that run-in was because Lana. I love that he clapped back on Lana, but who was super tan this week, who was like, "We need to talk," and he was like, "Nope," just walked away. It's like, that was cold.
You got my MVP do-rag on from 2002.
I just feel like I don't need.
I can't wait to see those waves grow in.
I really don't feel like I need the Lana segments anymore because I just don't need her. Like, let's just phase her out.
The Lana segments.
Let's just
need the Lana segments.
Let's phase her out. Slowly, Marcus.
You can't do that. You can't do that to say you need the Lana segments because Lana is going to be the one that cost Bobby Lashley at the pay-per-view.
Now, Marcus, I know
he has that jealousy that he can't succeed without her. It's nothing going wrong with Bobby. He looks like the baddest man on the planet right now. And MVP's in his corner. He's about to win. And Lana's going to come out and cost him the title because she needs to be there. And that's going to be Bobby Lashley's excuse. And that's why they can continue this probably into SummerSlam. That's the plan.
I secretly hope that it's the reuniting of her and Big Ruru.
Yeah. No, Marcus, I don't know if Rusev is really gone. That's the whole thing about it. Like, I mean, the fact that they bring Kurt Angle back, like, you just don't. Maybe they just released some people for a contract. You don't know what WWE was doing. You just don't know. But Marcus,
it would be cool if some people did come back that you thought were going. Like if Anderson and Gallows randomly showed up, or Rusev came back, and you'd be like, "Oh man, I didn't see that coming. This is the biggest swerve and the biggest slap in the face to AEW, thinking that they were getting anybody."
Except for the revival. But Marcus, speaking of this, I haven't thrown to you first.
The revival.
I haven't thrown to you first in a while, but I know how much this next segment meant to you. And on normal circumstances, I should technically skip this segment. But Marcus, how do you feel about Natalya disrespecting Charlie Caruso by taking a phone call from TJ while she was being interviewed about her match?
One, you're on TV. Who carries their phone on TV? Hold on 1 second. Brian, I'm doing the show right now, and I can't.
We need to keep talking.
Right.
We don't even need to do that. We don't even need to do that spot because Wes did that spot without even telling anyone. Wes just walked off.
But yeah, so what did you want me to say?
No, I just want you.
He wore the pants in that house. Like when he called, you better answer my phone. He had that Ike Turner look in his house.
He said, "I'm at home with these 7 cats. You better answer that phone."
I'm making my comeback, bitch. It's on. Put my name on TV. The biggest surprise.
Sorry, Natty, we are outside. It was my favorite look of anything. It was like they told her she wasn't gonna be on WrestleMania again. The way she looked, I'm like, I am out of time. Oh, fuck! I had something to say.
Natty is the GOAT. She's still doing it. She's been around for what, 15 years?
25 years.
Can I say Natty really played her role in that match with Charlotte and Nia Jax, and I couldn't believe this to myself. And it's just like when I was cheering for Jimmy Havoc and Orange Cassidy. At one point, I started cheering for Natty because Natty was doing all the heavy lifting in that match, and it was impressive. And we might as well go to that match because I don't think there's much to talk about except for Garza getting that win over Kevin Owens, which, you know, they protected Kevin Owens.
Garza got that win, and now he's in the banner.
He is in the banner.
He's in that banner.
Well, actually, before we go to the women's match, because that might have been the main event, how do you feel about us having a negotiator segment between Seth Rollins and Aleister Black about sacrificing Carrillo? He said, "Put the chair down or he's going to lose an eye."
I lost that eye.
I felt like if I'm Aleister Black, I might have been quick enough to see what would have happened. And then if he loses an eye, that's one less competitor that I have to go after whatever title I'm gonna go after. I'm just
You a son of a bitch.
You killed two. I mean,
You a son of a bitch. Rey Mysterio saved your life, Aleister Black, and you gonna let his protege die because you think you're quick?
Marcus, first of all, Rey Mysterio did not save Aleister Black's life when he got thrown off the roof. They just so happened to land on the same roof.
In my belief of the series is that Rey landed on the platform, Aleister did, but Rey's arm, he stuck it out and caught Aleister at the last second and held him up. It's like, come on, brother, I got you. And Aleister's like, I owe you everything. I owe you everything, Rey Mysterio.
Everything.
It's just fun because they're trying to find a way to interact, put Aleister Black in this situation. I don't know if he fits in the equation, but I guess Rey Mysterio needs to have a posse to go against the posse of the Messiah. I mean, I guess it works.
I think the best part is whenever the Messiah is with Murphy and Theory, you always get the side when Theory is talking. You be like, wipe his eyes, you get that little side. I don't want him to take that.
He's just staring at Seth. He's just looking at him like this. He doesn't look at the camera.
No, I mean that's what happens when you have a devout, person that you follow. Speaking of something,
I felt like this the Money in the Bank they have devalued Aleister Black. He seemed like he was moving up, but then he kind of just got stuck somewhere in the Seth Rollins feud defending Rey Mysterio's honor. He was just knocking fools out before this.
He was knocking black people out.
He was,
Remember
Marcus.
that?
Like, he was just beating up Leon Ruff. He was just beating up Leon Ruff.
That's true. He wasn't doing shit.
Yeah.
Where are all these skinny black wrestlers at? That's my question. They don't have no Funk brothers?
Nah, man.
There's only one left, and that's Big E.
Big E ate them all. Like, where are the big black guys? Everybody's skinny and small and. I mean, Tahuti Miles, Leon Ruff.
Dejanette. Don't forget about Dejanette.
Dejanette. Liam, who got destroyed on NXT.
So, speaking of looking
straight black guys. Lee Johnson in AEW.
So, Manny, did you believe Edge when Edge cut his promo saying that he don't believe in himself anymore and maybe he should hang it up, but he might still have the best wrestling match ever with Randy Orton at Backlash?
The fact that the audacity of just like, I'm going to take some young person's spot, but I don't know how I'm feeling about myself. If you don't know how you're feeling about yourself, you take yourself home.
Now, we all went to work like that. I went to work not if I had it that day. You know what?
Yeah, but you're not getting paid WWE money. You're not getting paid Edge WWE money.
I get as much as
No, because we go to work because we're getting paid. We're not getting paid WWE money, but we go there because we have to survive. Whereas Edge doesn't need that money.
And he got Beth Phoenix money. You right.
Right.
Could be a stay-at-home dad.
Amazon money.
Yeah. He could be a deadbeat dad if he wanted
But
to.
if we listen to the narrative,
Get a belly and a beer.
But if we listen to the narrative,
can you give me another one?
That Glamazon money ain't that much because according to Randy, she's the reason why Edge is back chasing that glory because they need some more money. I mean, I believe Randy.
No. You're mixing up Money McCool.
Oh,
that was Money McCool with AJ Styles and Undertaker.
You're right. Let me take a back seat.
I can't believe that Money McCool got Undertaker doing all these interviews and shit too. She can't take. She needs her money. Damn.
Well, since go ahead.
Side note, who is the best wrestler's wife in the game? You got McCool. You got Maurice. You got I wouldn't
Are we
say
saying current or all time?
All time. You can throw, you can throw all time in there.
Yeah, but
Eddie's wife, who gives you the most drama? What wrestler's wife?
I'm gonna say Stephanie gets the most drama. Triple H's wife.
Yeah, I mean, Marcus won right there. It's like you can't say anything else. As Jonathan Washington said in the chat, he just said, "Old man can't let shit go." And I believe that because I'm getting to that age of old shit. Like, I'm still holding grudges of people back in high school. Like, fuck this motherfucker. If I ever see this motherfucker, it's beat down on sight. You know, beat down on sight. James Moore, I'm looking for you, nigga. Anyway.
I don't like a family member to this day for some dirty stuff.
I love it. Everybody's like, if I see him on the street, that day will never come. And if it does, I think that we're all old enough to go, I'm too tired today. You lucky you got me on this day. You lucky you got me on this day. Shit. I would have beat your ass if I didn't have to go to this Chick-fil-A right now.
Man, I had meeting 5 days. I'm ready to fight somebody, man. Anyway, Charlotte Flair, Natty, and Nia Jax put on a really, really good match that I did not expect this match to be as good as I thought it would be. And at the end of the day, I did not expect Charlotte to lose this match either. So
what?
Well, I mean,
no one could win but Nia in this one.
Charlotte don't lose though, Marcus.
No, she does.
She lost to Bayley last week.
Yeah, she just did. Charlotte 0-2 in her last 2 matches.
Yeah, but nobody remembers Charlotte losing.
But people give Charlotte so much shit on her. Nia Jax won.
Okay. Too much wrestling.
People give Charlotte so much credit. She's 0-2 in her last few matches.
But she put over Nia when she didn't have to.
No, she didn't put over Nia. Natty put over Nia. Charlotte.
Natty did the job.
On the sidelines. She was just on the sidelines doing something.
But I'm going to say this is the best Nia Jax match I've ever seen because they took Nia Jax out the match and just basically made it Charlotte and Natty doing stuff to each other. And that sounds horrible.
No, but Marcus, you're right. It was points in the match where it'd be like, fuck, let's get rid of this bitch. Then they get rid of bitches like, let's do our thing. Oh shit, she back again. Let's get rid of her again. I mean, it made sense. It's the typical big man foundation.
Am I wrong to say that in pandemic era wrestling, Charlotte might win MVP even though she's the most hated wrestler probably in the company? People hate Charlotte. They hate Nia. They hate everybody in this match, I think. But Charlotte has been working on all the shows. And to be honest, I don't think she's put on a bad match since she's been doing this. She's actually been putting on good matches with everybody.
Marcus, you got to be mad to think people actually think about Natty.
Yeah, Mark, I don't think anybody hates Natty. I don't think anybody cares about Natty. It's the difference.
Yeah. You know what I mean, though. It's the three most. I would say they don't have the best reputations. I mean, Charlotte's hated because she's Charlotte Flair. Nia Jax is hated because she's apparently injured a bunch of people and possibly go on her way to injuring Kairi Sane next week.
In the tapings, apparently.
But according to Meltzer, it's not her fault. Kairi Sane fucked up. But no one's going to give Nia Jax the benefit of the doubt.
I don't think it's that Kairi Sane fucked up. I think it's just a spot that went wrong for this one.
Yeah.
Whereas the other one, you can clearly hear her say, I'm not set, even though she dunked her on the turnbuckle.
I'm willing to disagree. Over time, when she's the I'm not set controversy, I'm willing to give Nia and Kairi the benefit of the doubt of her saying that let me go in Japanese, the I'm set, because I've never heard a wrestler scream so loud so the microphone will pick up I'm not set. I just feel like that's to me it was unrealistic. I just think that Nia botched the move and threw her really low when she was supposed to throw her high. But I don't believe Kairi Sane was yelling I'm not set. I'm coming around to that. Nia still fucked the move. I just don't believe that she was yelling I'm not set. Because I've never heard a wrestler yell that, especially someone that doesn't speak English very well, scream, I'm not set, goddammit.
My question for Manny, though, and Manny, this is going to be a very hard question for you because it's going to make you have to dig into both shows. I need to know, in your opinion, who brought the most energy during commentary, Asuka or Nikki Cross?
Oh, Nikki Cross was more funnier though because she involved Michael Cole, and you even made Michael Cole just laugh on camera. So it's definitely Nikki Cross.
Wes, do you agree with him?
Nikki Cross is the English-speaking version of Asuka.
How dare you? She's not even English. She's Scottish. How dare you? No, my friend. No, my friend. They are very different people.
Wait a minute. I thought if you're considered Scott, you're considered English or something if you have the title. If you have the title,
no.
like they claim, right?
So combined England, Wales, and Scotland are Britain. So you are British. An Englishman will consider you British if you've done something. Whereas if you lose and disappoint, you become where you're actually from.
Okay.
You're Scots.
Nikki is stepping her game. Last week, this week, she's stepping her game up.
Yeah, but Nikki is the strength of that team. I can't stand Alexa. If she does this shit one more time, I'll kick her ass myself, and I can't even do that.
Hey, Eric, we need podcast buzz. Talk shit about Alexa.
No.
She may pay attention. She may listen to you. Say it.
Marcus,
What's she doing now?
Alexa.
What's she?
She always does it.
That's her thing. When she comes out, she wiggle the fingers.
That's for her and the fingers.
Shit. Marcus, I'd rather be unknown than have to give that heifer any more time a day on my show. So,
Moving
on. Moving on.
Shit.
Wes has a question.
If Charlotte Bliss was Ric Flair's daughter and Charlotte was some random person, would she have as much of the fame as she had?
Well, in these hypothetical situations, I feel like there's a lot of things that gotta happen here. So I think Charlotte would still be who she is today if she chose to get into wrestling, not knowing that her father was Ric Flair, because she's Vince's type, a tall blonde.
Yeah, but according to Peyton, Alexa's Vince's number one blonde.
And I think she is. She's his number one blonde because Alexa could do nothing in the ring, really, but she gets all the TV time. But she's decent on the mic.
But
Charlotte gives you the total package of solid mic work and in-ring athleticism.
I mean, if Alexa wasn't injury prone, then yeah, she probably would be a lot more up on the ladder than just being tag team champion. But I can't stand Alexa. But on Raw had the gentleman's game. It was the golf matchup between the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders. I enjoyed this entire segment. What I didn't understand was at the end when the guy finally kicked them off of the course. From my understanding, he was tagging along with them the whole entire time, so he could have kicked them off long time before shit got out of control.
No. They lost their control, and as they say on the golf course, when you get too loud, you got too ghetto. That's what happened with that, and they were kicked off. This happens to me all the time when I'm on the golf course, and they kick me off for being too loud. It's always hole number one. Maybe because I don't have a membership.
Hole number one.
Maybe because I don't have a membership. Well, and I'm yelling like, yeah.
Although,
get the hole.
I love the fact when he told the Street Profits, you being too loud, and I'm pretty sure that they were. And then the Viking Raiders were just being too messy, and I'm pretty sure that they were. And they concluded at miniature golf. And then next week, we're getting a true gentleman's game. We're getting bowling. I just don't imagine bowling going too well between these guys. Is a match going to ever happen, Wes? Do you think so?
I don't think the match needs to happen. I think they can keep doing stupid games like they can do cornhole. They can do tug of war. You know, they can do I was about to say tag.
Horseshoes.
You know, they can do laser tag, horseshoes. They can do all this stupidness that has no relevance at all. Like I was about to say, who's the champion? With the Street Profits being champions, unless somebody else steps up, let them keep doing this. It's sports. We don't have sports. Let them go out and go to the batters cage. Let them do that. It doesn't matter.
They're going to have a rowing contest. Manny, do you agree with Wes? Should we keep this going?
No. It needs to stop. It honestly needs to stop. They need to have a match now. Like, it almost goes back to... I haven't seen her in ages, Bianca Belair, telling them they need to get their shit together. And what are they all doing? What are they all doing? They're playing games. Maybe she just walked away. Maybe she should have walked away and went, ah! And then gone.
You know, she hasn't been on TV since she went that way.
She's been on Main Event.
Yeah. Has she been on Main Event?
Yeah.
And then
I saw it advertised.
Jonathan Washington asked the question, are they even friends? Because, like, what is the means to the ends between them in this situation? Like, I would assume that the Viking Raiders wants a title shot. And so when the Street Profits challenged them, like, so what do you guys want to do next? I really thought that the Viking Raiders was like, well, we want to fight you for the tag team championship. But they went and said fucking bowling. Like, you had a chance to get your tag team shots.
I think they're waiting until Backlash. Like, Backlash is when? The end of June?
Mid-June.
So we got 2 weeks or so until Backlash. They'll probably fight at Backlash. But what's after that? Because what other tag teams are out there, really? AOP is on the show.
AOP's off the show.
Because they're on the shelf.
They're on the shelf right now. Yeah, so
yeah, they're on the shelf.
And Hade, and then you got Theory and Murphy. That's 2 teams right there.
I mean, tag teams are scarce in the WWE. The tag teams are scarce, but
they'll call up your boys. Everrise.
No,
they call them Eric boys, Danny Burch and Odie Lorcan.
Hey, I take my boys over your boys any day, sir. Any day.
It would have been nice right now, and this is a sad thing to say, but Primetime would have been very good right now, coming back to the wrestling.
It would have worked out. It would have worked out very well in that situation. And, you know, and
what happened to Cedric and
Ricochet?
Like no one even brought them up.
They became a tag team, guys.
You were wearing this shirt a minute ago.
I forgot all about it.
With that being said,
and you got Shane Thorne and Brandon Vink, who are, I believe, undefeated.
Nah,
Jason Jordan.
MVP got money right now, so he don't need those guys no more. The main event
just left them.
The main event took place, and I would point out that I have always been hard on Angelo Dawkins, but his offense in this match looked actually fairly decent against MVP and Bobby Lashley. But I think we all knew that this match was going to end in a no contest, which it did. Marcus, do you think the show ended right with Lashley and McIntyre being pulled apart?
For the record, Eric, I did not know this was going to end in a no contest. I just thought the Street Profits were going to lose.
Oh.
I did not just assume they were going to lose straight up. I didn't believe that this was going to be a no contest. With that being said, I did like to pull apart, but I thought it was a little bit ridiculous of which he's calling people. Here's the protective shield to call people to stay away from social distancing, but apparently there are no other officials but John Cole who want to break this up. So he's telling people to run across the barricade to do it, and I felt like that was a little ridiculous. And they could have just had regular people pull them apart, because now that barricade, the plexiglass, anybody at any point is just gonna run around.
I'm just gonna let you know, if I was out there at the plexiglass,
he was looking for the biggest dude he could find.
If I was at the Marcus, if I was at the plexiglass, and after the first 2 people ran in and got the business, I ain't going. I'm staying right there in my 6 feet pocket and not helping nobody in this situation. Like, hey, this ain't my business. I'm NXT. Tape measure and everything. Wes is right. You measure that shit. 6 feet. Manny, are you getting involved to break up this break apart that was happening?
Have you seen the size of Bobby Lashley?
Yeah.
And Drew McIntyre. They'll kill you.
No.
Arms are being thrown around. All it has to take is one stray one to do. You're gone.
The thing is, they've been beating up these jobbers for weeks. Both of them. And everybody's been beating these jobbers that are standing outside for weeks. What made them think that one at a time was the best approach? You, Tahuti Mouse, let's go.
Let me just tell you.
Okay.
If Bobby Lashley...
Glasgow kiss.
Oh, he kicked it. Yeah, he kicked. If Bobby Lashley or Drew McIntyre accused me of taking their lunch and they wanted to face me in the fight pit, I'm not fighting either one of them. I might just have to. Here's my letter of resignation. I don't understand why these guys even work here. I didn't touch their lunch, but I'm not going to the fight pit with these 2 people.
I didn't touch their lunch.
I did not touch their lunch.
Let me take you to Chick-fil-A right now.
Yeah, I'll pay you lunch for a week, Bobby.
Bobby, what you want?
I got your lunch for a week, homie.
You want some sweet greens?
If it means that much, I didn't do it, but I will pay your lunch for the week, man. Don't beat my ass today in the fight pit.
I'm not just saying. But I thought Raw ended very well. I thought it really kept the stories that they had going from the previous week going, and I hope that Raw can keep the momentum going further. I think Drew has exceeded expectations as champion right now because he carries the belt very well. I thought the surprise of Cruz winning the title. I thought the Street Profits. I mean, I just thought Raw really was a good show. It's what I wanted for shit to make sense, and it did. Mark, do you have anything to add, or should I move over to NXT where controversy is king?
We should move over. We should move over because this is a long ass show.
Well, we have an extra. we have an extra member, so you know it happens.
Early.
Yeah, we if somebody was on time, this would never been a problem. Actually, he really did.
Always on time.
It would have made no difference if he was on time or not.
You right?
Yeah. I am not late. I arrive when I should. Let's quote Gandalf the Grey.
Let's just point out that we spent extremely too much time on a show that probably didn't need that much time to be spent on. That was AEW. But they are the new kids on the block. What can you say? So, Marcus, I know you were upset about how the Kushida, Jake Atlas, and Drake Maverick match ended with Drake getting the win when clearly Kushida beat the man both ways.
I knew there was going to be some convoluted ending to get Drake Maverick to the finals, but that was over convoluted. It was over convoluted. It was a solid match. I enjoyed the match. Kushida is who, they signed him up to be. And I really liked everything in the match. Just the ending, I was like, oh, wait, he got him in the aura bar, and then he going to put his aura around him. Wait, Kushida didn't have the pin, and none of it made sense. It was a very convoluted ending. And then for them to go into the back, and then Drake is like, nah, man, I understand Drake's perspective. And I was like, oh, it's honorable. I owe him a match, man. He won that match. And then Kushida just going like, nah, man, take it, man. Keep your job. It was a bit of charity that if I'm Jake Atlas, like, nah, restart this shit up. So this whole thing is blowing the controversy because I believe Tozawa should still be in the finals.
Yeah.
It is outrageous. For Hilo Phantasma to come out to shake Drake Maverick's hands, I would like Tozawa to slap that hand away and was like, you ain't beat me. No one beat me.
Yeah, but where is Tozawa?
He got jumped in the parking lot. He was not
gone.
doing well after Luchador jumped him in the parking lot. Now, if they would have did that and they said, hey, Tozawa and Phantasma have to fight again to determine who has the better record, and then he got jumped in the parking lot with the half-dressed Phantasma watching, and it's like, oh, he can't compete, so you go to the finals, I can accept that. But I can't accept that he's just in the finals, and I can't accept that Jake Maverick in the final when he lost twice. Jake Atlas lost twice.
Wes, you seem like you're ready to jump in on this.
No. Go ahead. I'll come back to you. Go ahead.
Okay, Manny, do you have anything?
I like the way the story's going, but it's almost like he better have a job at the end of this because like it's just mean the way they're going about this. if he doesn't, like it's honestly like I feel like there's going to be more internet buzz if he just walks away with no job after this, after putting him through all this whole storyline of it. But I feel like there'll be more controversy about turning and releasing into a storyline.
Well, I think it just leaves more credence to my idea that maybe Rusev is not really released. Maybe they were furloughed or something like that. Who knows? It's just that the man is showing up. Everyone is showing up once again. I don't care. I'm just going to watch the show and try to enjoy it.
Now, how would you like this to end next week on NXT? Do you want to see Drake Maverick win and continue his job, or Drake Maverick lose and lose his job? But would you like to see Phantasma Goose cost Drake Maverick his job in an unjust way, or would you like Drake Maverick to lead those luchadors this entire time and he be their boss from back in the 205 general manager days?
Oh, that would be so good.
The title.
Well,
that would be so good.
But Marcus, I agree with you. Somebody's gonna lose the match next week. Hot take. Hot take right there.
Hot take. This isn't soccer.
But Marcus,
someone has to lose.
But Marcus, I believe someone is gonna lose the match next week, and then I think we're gonna figure out who is in charge of the people who is kidnapping people. I
want to be Drake Maverick now.
I think you do, but I think it's gonna be, Phantasma. A man that walks out and not button up his shirt like that, that's a man that's about trouble. I'm just saying.
In overall, the man decides to walk outside half dressed. Like, I don't understand why he has to be half dressed? I mean, what was 2 more seconds to button up the other shirt?
Marcus, because that's his Papi Chulo look. He never had any intentions. Mark, he was gonna let the chest hair show. Just come on, man. You ain't never had a shirt where you didn't button up like 3 buttons and let it out.
Hell, I'm about to see right now.
Nah, man. You already asked to be painted because this was the Titanic. So NXT.
Hit me like one of your French girls, Jack. Hit me like one of your French girls.
So shit is already real on NXT when you have the Garganos having dinner. So Gargano had a squash match against somebody, and then a video package interrupted where Mia Yim is just really sick of they shit. And you know, like, I know Mia Yim is mixed with black and Asian, but she was really black in that situation. And Marcus and I said that we were so disappointed, and I know this is racist and the sensitive time, but we really wanted them to be eating black food in that situation. I wanted some collard greens on that goddamn plate, and it wasn't there. But, Wes, go ahead.
She could have cursed. She could have said, them MF was blah, 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 and they could have beat it or something.
Yeah.
You want to be urban, you want to be hood? You keep look all bougie right now. You're like, what are you talking about? You look like Carlton Fresh Prince. Like, what?
Yeah, like
Keith, he is very Carlton.
Yeah, Keith was just too civilized for me. What are you doing? Like, she just got finished cutting a hood promo, bitch. I'm gonna snatch your wig back. And he's like, honey, what are you talking about? This is not the way we like.
But that's the whole point. It was just like, I was sitting there thinking, how does this man with such decorum put up with this so much ghetto-ness in front of him? Because it's basically Uncle Phil sitting with
Dark Unviv. Yeah, Dark Unviv. Not like because Dark Unviv in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air played a more role in the community. Light Skin Unviv was just a housewife. I said it. Fuck Alexa
She just
Bliss
walked
too.
around. She existed. I like to think there was some divorce there. Because Uncle Phil, because Viv was too ghetto for Uncle Phil. Therefore, he found someone that was less ghetto. And they just don't talk about that he married a woman named Vivian twice. That they just now call mother. I'm just saying.
Light on Viv had that thing. Light on Viv had that little boy she needed to watch. That's why she was a housewife. The homemaker.
Didn't they have another kid? What's the little kid name?
I like Nicholas.
Little Nicky.
Yeah, they had little Nicky. Dark is the moon. Viv, light is I don't know what. Dark is the sky, not the moon. The moon's actually kind of...
So when Keith,
I like how.
Oh, go ahead, Wes.
I was gonna say I like how Keith Lee was like when what's her name? Tegan came in. He was like, she got a key. Like she just come in like that.
like clearly, me and Yim had this all set up. Jonathan Washington, I prefer Pool Hall Uncle Phil. He is the best. Not the lawyer. When he went to the pool hall and took care of business when Will got hustled, I saw that episode a couple episodes ago. That was the best episode ever. Break it out.
Break out still.
Uncle Phil was more hood in the beginning too of Fresh Prince.
Well, so
he's a little more hood.
No, he wasn't. He was having. He had high tea. No one hood is having high tea.
He had a hood. He had a hood part.
Yeah.
You know, he was in a pool hall. He was, you know.
So, Manny, yeah. I don't know if you can answer. I don't know if you can answer this question, but this is an ABW question, and I have to ask Marcus and West this question: are you taking Uncle Phil or Carl Winslow as the better dad? Marcus,
can I jump in?
Yeah.
First thing first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. For real.
Yeah.
He's the only father that I ever did. Anyway, so he has to be. I have to go Uncle Phil. I feel like Carl Winslow was nothing but a lazy desk cop, and Phil had the size advantage, and I think Phil would have fucked him up.
Wes, are you agreeing with Marcus with Uncle Phil over Carl Winslow?
I don't think you have to get that deep. I'm choosing Uncle Phil because Carl had a kid that went missing and didn't think to look for the little girl at all during the 27 seasons of Family Matters.
And Manny,
it was Vicky. I don't know what the kid's name was, but she just
Judy
disappeared at the end of season 1. She was gone.
Manny, this makes absolutely no sense to you, huh?
No, I would still pick Uncle Phil. Like that episode of Why Don't He Want Me? The one that episode that will make every man cry.
Yeah.
Look at that hug he gave him.
No.
Look at that hug. He pulled him in. He was in. He was in.
It was a real hug, man.
I remember watching that episode, being choked up, and I had to get through Blossom so I can get to Monday Night Raw. And it was a hard time. It was a hard time for me right then and there, man. Yeah. With that being said, I enjoyed how on NXT they paid it for.
She's even thrown you now. She's even thrown you now.
Huh?
Yeah.
It's made you sad now. I heard the way you said it.
You can't move on with your life.
I mean, I'm just saying. We had Tegan Knox, and she delivered the pizza, and I felt that this delivered dividends in the very next segment when we had Shotzi Blackheart going against Raquel Gonzalez, because this became one of the most pettiest feud of all petty feuds, is when Dakota Kai comes down to the ringside, and she takes the tank, and she's trying to tear the tank up, and she realizes she can't tear the tank up, so she throws little shit off of here. Then Tegan Knox get in, and pushes. It was a segment that didn't need to happen, but I enjoyed it so much. Manny, I'll let you speak on this because, we did a lot of talking about Carl Winslow.
I just felt, did you see the spot where she did the pretty much coffin
man,
drop
she
to the
killed
outside?
her fucking self, man. That was ridiculous.
I saw that. And in this era, I don't feel like it's necessary to be doing spots like that when there's only your peers in the crowd. And if they didn't even do that with NXT wrestlers in the crowd, it would have been for nothing, where you could potentially injure yourself. It's not worth it. I just felt like once that happened, I automatically switched off. I was like, that was an unnecessary spot. And just like AEW last week where Phoenix did that spot, and I was just like, he didn't need to do that spot, and now he's out of.
It was an easy catch. They just dropped Phoenix.
No, but the other thing is, I think like she overshot as well. Like when she did it.
I don't think they were ready for that. They didn't seem like they were ready.
Well, because
she just overshot. They were ready, like, oh, she's gonna land backwards and fall backwards. But Shotzi decided to jump, completely jump, and looked like she was going for a half moonsault. It looked like a moonsault that didn't work. That's how bad that coffin drop was. And she just lands her head. Well, I've never seen a referee jump out the ring to check on somebody as fast as he did right there. He literally ran 100 miles per hour. I was like, oh shit, Shotzi's dead.
you can never...
and he ran, checked on her. She was like, I'm good. And then we have to look at Shotzi for the rest of the week in the audience. Like, oh, I guess she survived this, or they taped all this before.
You should have been in there with a neck collar on and on SmackDown. Should have neck collar.
I called and told Marcus. I told Marcus, and I said, I think Raquel Gonzalez is the best big woman in the game, and I said it. I was like, I don't think there's any. I mean, she's better than Nia Jax.
Competition out there.
She's better than Nia
Did you
Jax.
hear that? Did you hear that? Fuck your Tamina turn.
She's better than Tamina. She's better than Nyla Rose. I'm just saying. I'm on the Raquel Gonzalez train. Wes, you seem to be very adamant against this. What are you gonna tell me? Some Nia Jax? Tell me that I'm wrong.
I'm about to pick Nyla over Raquel Gonzalez. Give me everybody over Raquel Gonzalez.
Really?
Give me,
oh wow, everybody.
Give me what's her name? Bad and Bougie. Them two together. Give me Santana Garrett. Give me anybody over Raquel Gonzalez.
Big woman in the game.
Waiting in the ring, waiting for stuff to happen. Like, all right, do your kick right here. Do your clothesline.
I'm just saying her offense was fairly seamless in the match. And then on top of that, the week before, she picked up Dakota Kai, who was sitting on the bridge in white shorts on her Harley Davidson. I mean, she a bad bitch. She has potential to be the best big woman in the game. Technically, she's not, because I guess that would be Rhea Ripley, because she is technically, I guess, a big woman. So, yeah.
Charlotte's pretty big, too.
Rhea's number is number 3. Number 2 is Charlotte. And number 1 is Tamina. Proceed.
Oh, wow. We're going that route. Even I'm not bold enough to get Tamina the number 1 big woman in the game.
Do you know what? Where it's Fight Pit? I'm going to Fight Pit you.
Yeah, I feel like this has to be settled in Fight Pit. Now, then you had Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai going against Charlotte in a mystery partner. I will point out that Chelsea Green may have been the best mystery partner for Charlotte in this situation, and I also felt like possibly Rob Stone, as Marcus told me, should be aligned with Charlotte instead of Chelsea, just because it was money moves that was being made.
I said they should be aligned together. He should have multiple women, and I felt like it would improve his brand by saying I acquired Charlotte and I have
she
Chelsea.
Fired him. Chelsea Green fired him.
What?
So I did it when I was looking up for notes and stuff like this. A video came up. It was like Chelsea. So a video where they talk backstage is basically Chelsea Green firing Robbie Stone.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh?
Why?
Don't know. Just felt like they were going their separate ways. Just one match with Charlotte, and she's gone.
I'm looking now. Uh-oh.
But
I think he's right.
But Manny.
Oh man.
But Manny, that leads to a storyline though, because now Chelsea is fired, and now he can go and hire Aaliyah to be part of Rob Stone right now.
No.
That's a bad decision for Rob Stone.
That's a bad decision.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what?
The talk about this match, I felt like
that's some bad stock there.
Yeah, that's me. Hey, I was going to invest all my money in Amazon, but now I'm deciding to go with Quibi and hope shit works out.
No, that's Wish.com, where that stuff's coming from North Korea, and you don't know how long it's taken to come.
So a package was done for Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan. I don't understand why they had to meet in the pub to decide that they were going to fight Imperium, wanted to challenge Imperium for the tag team titles.
Why would you meet in a pub to drink water?
I don't know. I don't understand why we were at the pub drinking water, and especially because everybody wants to go to the pub. Oh wait, Wes is.
Oh no, our research analysis. Wes has chimed in.
He fired Robert Stone.
But did you think I was going to come on here? Did you think I was going to come on here and lie?
I can't believe that happened. No way. It's not canon until it happens on TV. I'm just saying it's not canon until it happens on TV.
After tonight, Chelsea Green is the hottest she's ever been.
Oh, it's Nadia.
That's why fired.
Well, why? I mean, now he has to show up with Charlotte.
She is.
He has to show up with Charlotte every week.
She is.
That don't make sense.
She is egotistical
he got
enough.
a match with Charlotte. He elevated her. He elevated her.
So our favorite jobber of the night, Leon Ruff, was in the match with Ciampa, and I could not.
He's about to have a rough night.
I could not stop because I enjoyed this entire thing because it was just Ciampa looking at Scarlett the entire time, and her looking back at Ciampa, and then she finally walks up to the Tron, and then Karrion Kross, who is too lazy to come out and tell Ciampa how he really feels, talks through the Tron, and I'm looking forward to this match at In Your House.
Yeah, he wanted to tell him with his eyes. This was some super villain shit. Let me see it, and I'm gonna quote Thundercats, my wench out there to look at you, but I'm gonna talk to you with my eyes. When you look at me, and I'm gonna kill you In Your House.
Like Rob Conway, look at me.
Boss battle. Huh?
Like Rob Conway, look at me.
No,
okay.
You're not a sight to see.
Okay.
So he staring a hole to him, and this is gonna be an impressive match. I believe that In Your House Takeover might be one of the best pay-per-views we get. It just seems like it's a really good card.
And then Adam Page did make his match with Velveteen as long as the Velveteen can't
Adam
challenge.
Cole.
Whatever.
Bye.
I'm not talking about an alcoholic, okay? He's a little bit shorter.
Before you go on, I want to say I think that Ciampa and what's her name, Scarlett, were looking at each other. Maybe some feelings are starting to come up.
Oh no, I wouldn't be lying if they said they hadn't hit each other before. You know, it just seemed like they had a lot going on.
It was indefinite in that outlook. They were looking at it, and nothing.
You remember 2011 in Milwaukee, Ciampa?
What happened in 2011 in Milwaukee?
Outlook since Rey Mysterio, I was on that step.
What about Rey Mysterio? Let me see.
I said I haven't seen that serious of an outlook since his eyes and them steel steps were like inches apart.
Oh. Wow. He stared a hole right through it. He may have to retire after staring through her.
All right, and so now moving on to the last show, which we don't have to spend much time on because luckily we already talked about the fight pit. Friday Night SmackDown.
Oh,
Friday Night SmackDown. It is so fitting that Wes is wearing his American Alpha shirt. We had the return appearance of Jason Jordan, who Marcus said that Zelina Vega thanked for helping her with one of his segments. But if you want to talk about taking entertainment to a whole nother level of questioning shit, this was WWE's attempt of taking shit to another level, where you start off with Renee Young out there thinking she's a beat reporter, reporting the news as Elias is being carted off on a gurney. The next thing you know, she is Marcus live PD takes place where you got them finding Jeff Hardy in the back, smelling like alcohol. And
sorry guys, this is a crime scene. This is a crime scene. You need to stay away. This is a crime scene.
But my favorite part though is when Jeff Hardy walks out. He's like, Elias, what happened? And then what makes matters worse, at the end of the show, it demonstrates what right privilege is, because this man was investigated for vehicle assault, hit and run, and driving under the influence, but he was still booked and released out of custody enough time to make it back to SmackDown to point a finger at Sheamus. Which I enjoyed the whole opening because it made no sense. Marcus, can you explain to me, since you was on the sideline reporting what happened in this situation?
All right, so this was probably my favorite opening segment to any SmackDown in history opening segments. For one, mostly the cheesiness and the fake copness about everything. One, the whole carnage of what's going on, and then the cop going to Jeff Hardy's car, sniffing the booze, and going like, this is alcohol. And then him pulling down the mirror and going like, this is Jeff Hardy's car. No rental car would actually say Jeff. It would say Jeffro Hardy's car. He would not go, Jeff Hardy, his car? So anyway, he was doing some very fine detective work. And I was going like, what? He shouldn't be touching shit. Like, he just all going through everything.
With
And
no
so-
gloves or anything. No gloves.
Yeah, no gloves or nothing. No gloves or nothing. And then Renee Young said we had a witness to the scene, and it's Braun Strowman who's just looking on to the carnage. And Braun Strowman did the best mic work I've ever seen him do of confused person who doesn't know what actually happened. I mean, Renee Young was like, what did you see? He was like, I don't know what I saw. And he's like, look, all I know is I saw Elias, and I saw a car come at him, and then someone ran out, and someone ran away. I don't know what I saw. Oh, it was just crazy. Like, he was so distraught about the whole thing. He did not look like the world champion. He did not look like he was shaken up. He looked very weak. But my thing is, to point the finger at Sheamus, this had to be a two-person job. If he saw somebody run away after getting hitting Elias, if it's Sheamus, it's pretty obvious what Sheamus looks like. Sheamus is the whitest man with the reddest hair you know. Sheamus kind of sticks out, no matter what. You can tell the difference between Jeff Hardy and Sheamus. He can easily go, nah, I wasn't healed. That guy's too small. He ain't ripped like Sheamus. But I really enjoyed it. Fighting Jeff in the bushes, and then the cop who was sniffing the bottle earlier, he smells like the bottle I smelled in the car. So I'm going like, what are you like, who smells like that? When they've been drinking, he smells just like that bottle that hasn't been drunk out of. Like,
That's good detective work. What are you talking about?
All right, he trying to get promoted to detective, man.
He asked Jeff Hardy any questions. Jeff Hardy could have been a victim his own self. He never saw Jeff Hardy in his own car. This could have been a hit and run of Stolen Miracle. For all you know, Jeff was passed out in the bushes. You never saw me in that car.
You know, the interesting thing is that I went to the grocery store a couple of days ago, and when I got out the car, there was a bottle of Mad Dog 2020 right there on the ground, and I was like, in my area, who the fuck is drinking Mad Dog 2020? And I was a little taken back by that, because that is some cheap liquor right there, and you have a hangover for days. Wes, did you have problems with the opening segment of SmackDown?
I feel like this is a conspiracy, because how would you have known that Jeff been wearing all? So was he already there and went in and came out, or you said, "Oh man, Jeff pulled up. He got him." How did you get his keys? Like, put on the black shirt. It's like, but my thing was this whole intro of SmackDown. All it was missing was the music from Law and Order.
Yeah.
And the point that I have had a problem with, all this police is here on Friday, but on Wednesday night, nobody's here. People getting kidnapped and hit and doing all this stuff at NXT, but at SmackDown, the police come out. When they're dealing with the money.
Manny, did you believe that Jeff Earl Hardy, do you think he's innocent or guilty?
Well, I feel like they missed a step with this, like with all this. The hacker, he can see all the cameras. He should have been the one to explain why Jeff was running out. No, we see
they didn't have enough time for that.
The car didn't even have any remote damage, like it hit a sign or hit a person. That car looked pristine, like it just came off the lot.
It just looked like that motherfucker just popped the hood, the hood, and then kind of closed it back, like.
Let me check my oil while I wait.
My whole thing was like, how much damage could be done to Elias if that man hit that pole like he hit the pole? Because where was Elias standing at? Like, what? Because I don't know where they found his body at. And why is Elias always getting hit by shit?
Well, apparently it's the second time Elias has died this year. Remember, Baron Corbin threw him off the Pride Rock earlier in the year, and now he's been ran over with broken ribs and a torn bicep, apparently. So he was clearly ran over.
No, it's like when the Spanish announce table gets broken and the announcers fall out of their chairs in slow motion. I feel like that's what happened with especially how that car was. Like he had to hit him in like 2 miles per hour where he just grazed him. There's no way that car could have done any damage like that.
He could have did the I'm going straight and then I'm gonna drift a little bit and hit him with the side of the car so he'll flip over the back of the hood. I don't know. We don't know who was driving the car. I'm sure we're going to get more information with the hacker next week.
As Jonathan Washington said, they must really hate Elias Singer in this situation because everyone, ever since he's got to the Performance Center, people are trying to take his ass out. Yeah, Mark, you're right. If there's, because, like SmackDown ended with a cliffhanger where Sheamus doesn't advance and then there's Jeff Hardy there and next thing you know, it just goes off and I'm like, I wanted some type of video package. I need to know how Jeff Hardy got out of jail. But we won't find out till next week.
He was still concussed. I don't even know how he got back to the arena.
Did he kick out the police car and just jump out? Like, I don't know what happened. I gotta get to the arena.
No, he kicked the window and Jamie Noble was like, "You stay there. You stay, Jeff. Stay."
I mean,
the best actor of this segment was Jamie Noble.
I will point out.
Jeff Hardy, they gonna do a good job.
Let me just tell you something. I will point out that they had Elias being the one being hit with a car. However, I really think it was Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan deciding that he wants to fight somebody to get to the final of the Intercontinental title instead of...
That is the most unlikely person to do it. He wanted to fight his way in.
Now,
if it was anybody, it'd be AJ, who was like, I'm in the finals then.
But once AJ took that easy road in, he should have said, you know what? I'm not going to let AJ get it. Why have this battle royal? Why? Although... I enjoyed the battle royal because I got a lot of stuff that I hadn't seen in a while. Got the reunion of the bar. Go ahead, Wes.
I would say, when did Iron Mike get all his power in the back?
We don't know. We don't know when Scrap Daddy had the power to make matches, but he did.
Oh, so Adam Pearce, Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce. Before we go further, was anybody offended by the Jeff Hardy drug storyline taking it to real life? Because apparently that was an uproar on the internet of that they're using his personal life for financial gain. I could give two fucks about that.
Wow, 2 fucks. Two.
No, but it promotes how he's evolved as a human and just like how he's got over it. It's a storyline. He's got over it himself. It may happen again because it's Jeff Hardy, but we like to think that he's going to succeed in his recent sobriety. But I think people make a big deal out of it for no reason.
Once again, I think
I don't know how he still has a driver license.
He might not, Marcus. He might not.
He's had so many DUIs.
It might be the fact that this is where wrestling fans really show that they complain about everything, because the one thing that we can all say as wrestling fans, wrestling is better when it imitates reality. When you take a little bit of the realism and you mix it into the match. One of the best feuds, because I know Matt Hardy was very critical of this segment, but one of his biggest feuds was when he was dealing with Edge taking Lita for him fucking him behind his back. So I mean, like, it's what makes stuff entertaining.
Well, what about that time he burnt down Jeff's house and killed his dog and was cold-blooded Matt Hardy?
And as Jonathan said in the chat room,
like that was a team.
And Marcus, as Jonathan said in the chat room, the CM Punk storyline was the same thing too. So I mean, we've done this storyline before. It will be continued, and it will happen. I mean,
it has to happen. It has to happen. But to me, it was like he was clearly set up. It was never that Jeff done fell off the wagon and doing a DUI angle. He's clearly being set up here. He looked like he was concussed, and he was like, "Oh, my head hurts." And you smell like alcohol in the car. Like, it all looked like a setup from the word go. It didn't look like Jeff Hardy was driving drunk and flipped over or something. But whatever. I enjoyed it. I think CM Punk even enjoyed it because he tweeted talking about how the cop was he was laughing at the cop at this too, because it was too comical. Like, it's so fiction that you can just get a DUI or whatever the hell they accused Jeff of having, reckless driving, DUI. And attempted murder or attempted manslaughter, and you'd be out in like an hour and a half.
I'm trying to think. Do I really? No, because this I have to. The blood feud between Lacey Evans and Sonya Deville. Was this the feud that we needed, that we didn't know that we needed?
Needed to be in a fight pit. Needed to be in a fight pit. Put Sonya in the fight pit. I don't know, because you saw the way Lacey Evans was looking at Sonya after she cut her promo about how she gonna get on the right track, and she was like, "Bitch, I'll show you." And then they had a solid match. For some reason, I was invested in this match, and it had some nice physicality, and I was like, "Oh, you know what? That was solid work right there from both parties."
And then a lot of stuff on SmackDown was like fallout. We had Sasha Banks defeat Bliss. No one cares about that.
Wait a minute. Sasha Banks had to go get her shoes.
She did. But actually, Bayley got those shoes.
Because Bayley's trifling.
And Edge.
Bayley is doing some good mic work right now, yo.
Yeah, I mean, it was solid. And then, shout out to Sasha for wrestling in some 11s. She had the 11s on. I appreciate that.
Yeah, she did.
Then Shorty G.
The New Day out there instigating.
He did right.
Yeah. They brought the coffee and he trying to get them to drink it. I felt like that booty coffee should have been thrown into somebody's face. I think that should have started the fight. Like, if that was thrown into Bayley's face and it said, and Bayley goes, "Sasha, you gonna have to avenge, you gotta fight their ass." So we get title shot. But
Shorty G
they're gonna break up next week. That's the end.
Shorty G defeated Cesaro to carry on from the thing. I think the only other thing that we need to talk about, Matt Riddle.
We talk about the Battle Royal and all.
We don't need to talk about that. Matt Riddle is now going to be on SmackDown. I'm going to ask a quick question. Manny, will Matt Riddle be successful on SmackDown, or will he be a failure?
Only time will tell, but I definitely I think he has what it takes, and I think Fox are a type of people that would want someone like him on their brand.
I just love Manny has like one of the most generic answers for like we were doing it too.
Just because you caught me off guard because I wasn't even thinking.
Only time will tell how successful he would be in his career.
That was the bit to stall to my actual answer.
Steve like a draft pick.
Stephen A. Finale.
Prospects.
Stephen A. Finale. How do you feel about the acquisition of Matt Riddle to the SmackDown brand?
Well, I think it's astronomical. I'm
sorry, what was that word?
Astronomical.
Astronomical. Astronomical.
Astronomical. Don't you talk about my vocabulary, okay? This is Stephen A. Finale. And I'm going to use as many hyperboles that I choose to use in my life, all right? So, what I'm saying is Matt Riddle can go on and go to SmackDown and persevere over the oppressor SmackDown world. And Kurt Angle introducing him is a plus, and I think he's just going to be as good as LeBron James.
Wes, how do you feel? How do you feel about the acquisition of Matt Riddle to SmackDown?
I'm not serious.
Is it helping the star power?
I feel like this is, yes. I feel like actually, my thing is he lost on NXT, Kurt. So you all hyped up about introducing the man. He lost. Granted, he kicked the man's teeth out, but he got choked out. And I'm like, weren't we going to wait a week or two before you introduce Matt Riddle to SmackDown? Like this dude literally lost.
Fight pit. He lost in a fight pit, not a wrestling match.
He lost in a fight.
He lost a fight. He didn't lose a match.
So we're not going to have any more. You're not going to do anything when Pete Dunne
done
comes. I know.
He can't get back into the country.
Once he's able to go back in the country, he's probably going to feud with Thatcher. I brought you in to help my friend, and you turned on him and put him in a fight pit against you?
And you made me lose my championship match. So I challenge you to a fight pit.
You'd be like, you made me lose my teeth.
So,
yeah, it's because you turned on him.
I feel like I need
You're a piece of shit, Timothy Dunn. No, Pete Dunn, you should have been here. I live in the UK. Well, you piece of shit. Pandemic.
I feel like it's time for me to talk about what I felt was the most controversial segment of Friday Night SmackDown. That was the poolside situation with Mr. Money in the Bank.
Oh my God.
This is the most controversial segment
because
of SmackDown.
I didn't understand why Mandy Rose needed to dream about Otis, like putting it down on her. When he was already there, he could have just put it down on her. Like, it just didn't make any sense. But then Otis did it for the big man because he got her in the pool. And I was like, oh shit, he done tugged her down twice. Otis got some game. I was like, go ahead, Otis.
Fucked her in that pool.
He did. They fucked in that pool, man. She gonna have a Mandy Rose Otis baby. Wes, go ahead.
It's gonna be a steak. She's gonna give birth to a steak.
It would have been better if they would have panned off to the bushes and you saw Tucker Knight standing right there. I'm gonna get him. Put the hands on.
No, Marcus has been saying it the whole time. He's like, he want Tucker Knight to be popping up out the bush and stuff just to ruin everything. Like, that's what should have woke her up. But
like somebody coming, she waking up and you see Tucker like moving back. You need some Tuckerness.
Tucker need to get some revenge.
Poor Tucker
I
Knight.
went on WWEshop.com looking for a Tucker Knight t-shirt.
Well, since you never bought the Tamina shirt, I know you're not buying the Tucker Knight shirt either.
Here you go.
Burn.
He getting serious. Oh man.
Burn.
Just saying, man.
You ain't shit.
I feel like I can't allow Wes on the show anymore until either he has his shirt or Marcus has his shirt.
Don't worry, Wes. I know how to hurt him.
I don't think where's Tamina anyway? I ain't seen her in a while.
She takes time off, okay?
Bailey threw off the roof too.
Let me tell you what's gonna happen. After this podcast, Eric, I'm gonna eat a nice juicy steak. All right? It's gonna cost me at least $50, and it's gonna be juicy. And I'm gonna pour all the steak sauce on there, and I'm gonna wash it down with the most expensive drink I can find, and enjoy my food as you sit there and eat your rabbit pellets. How you like that? Let's talk about tomatoes.
It doesn't bother me, Marcus, because my black bean burger last night was delicious. It was.
How about your bean pies, brother? Your bean pies?
I ain't had no sugar in my system in 5 days, brother. No sugar, no dairy, and no meat. So fuck you, sir.
That's right. You ain't got no meat.
Hey, why don't you drive over here and tell it to my face?
I go kick your ass. You lucky it's a pandemic, and you're lucky they rioted all over Low Beach, and I can't leave the Low Beach.
Is that the only reason why you can't come? Is that the only reason why you can't come? Exactly.
That's the only reason why. Me and Jeff Hardy both.
You just like Renee Young trying to start shit, or Kayla Braxton, I should call you.
By the way, Renee Young going like, oh, he's clearly inebriated. Bitch, we gonna sit that on the side.
I'm just saying until he's gonna be waving us in. Like, come on, break him up.
So
see you in the fight pit.
I'm not going to the fight pit, man. I can't climb
Get
in.
25 seconds, I would get tired.
All right. So we have a couple of emails to read before we can wrap up this almost 3-hour episode of Going Live. We have it from John from Brooklyn.
Put him under the desk, or what just happened there?
I had to look at the recorder to see how long we've been going, man. You know who I am.
Oh, it tells me right here, 2 hours and 50-some minutes.
If it would have been shorter if somebody was on time, but we're not going to talk about that person.
It doesn't change the time. That doesn't change the time. Like if we were going to run 10 miles and we ran 10 miles in whatever time, an hour or whatever it is, it doesn't change the time that we ran in 1 hour.
You know, we just wasted a lot of time listening to that analogy. Just want to point that out.
Fuck you, man. Fuck you and your bean burgers and shit.
So the email goes, it's only right that with the greatest match ever about to go down in less than a month, and on a night where I watched what very well might have been my favorite match ever in the Stadium Stampede, the greatest Sharpie to ever exist makes a glorious return. Okay, maybe second greatest behind the Diz Man. All right, third behind him and Manny. Okay, fourth behind both of them and Maurice. But the fourth greatest Sharpie is ever back. Yes, it's John from Brooklyn. I started listening to you.
Oh!
I
had no clue what this was gonna be.
I started listening to you way back in 2007-ish and followed you guys all the way through your first Michael Jordan-like retirement. I know you've been back for a while, but I wanted to welcome you back officially. I'm not an AEW fanboy by any means. I like more of what they do than I dislike, but I'm not somebody online constantly bashing WWE and pretending AEW can do no wrong. But I can't even begin to overstate how much I love the Stadium Stampede match. It felt like some of the old Sharpie backstories like Kane canceling flights somehow came to life and became an actual wrestling match. I can totally hear Marcus saying, what if Mike Hardy took the lake of reincarnation water and put it in the Jaguars pool and that's how he morphed? Did it have 5-star drama or 5-star moves? Maybe not. But if it was the most fun I've had watching a wrestling match in forever. Only the Firefly.
I didn't know the Jaguars had a pool.
Only the Firefly Funhouse match from Mania can compete. Wrestling needs to take itself less seriously and be more creative. Keep up the good work, John from Brooklyn. You know, John, you're right. The Stadium Stampede match was everything that I needed it to be. And it was one spot in that match that I knew that if I had the physical ability, I would have did the same thing that Nick Jackson, was it Nick or Matt? I'm not sure. But if I saw a goal post, I gotta climb the goal post and do a moonsault off of a goal post. That's just who the fuck I am right in that situation.
You're gonna fall like Shotzi.
I probably am, Marcus. I probably am. I mean, shit like that is real.
But Matt did it with broke ribs. Both your ribs are healthy. I feel like you would just fall straight down.
And I also enjoyed when they brought back the golf cart for Sammy Guevara. That was hilarious for me. Like, it was reoccurring. He got away, but he didn't get away.
My favorite thing about the pool was it Ortiz that couldn't swim?
Yeah.
And he took the ladder to get to and Santana's like, come on, man, it's 3 feet. Come on, get over here. We're trying to drown this fool. Let's go. That was one of my favorite parts.
The fact that there was a camera inside the pool, still don't know why there was a camera in the pool. That sounded like something.
But he kept turning to the camera and.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Last email comes from Chris.
I've got an email as well.
Oh yeah, Manny does have an email.
Wait, you have an email?
Yes.
But yeah. I remember this.
Chris says Eric is a known hypocrite. Manny, Marcus, and whoever else is on the show this week. We don't know if you are or not. Your blind loyalty for Ric Flair's daughter is fine. But your continued bashing of those that don't have the same lust in their eye to want to come on her mountains is just as hypocritical for saying we unjustly don't like her. So
what is that discussion?
I don't know.
We're trying to nut on Charlotte Mountain.
So I feel like we have to have Chris on at some point.
We do, because I feel like I think he's calling me out for stuff that I've always said that I was an unapologetic Sasha fan. There's only one person I think I cheer more than Charlotte, and that's Sasha. And I think I said Sasha instead of Charlotte. It doesn't matter. So yeah,
he said Sasha.
So yeah, Eric often mentions people continue to watch shows they don't enjoy. That's why I haven't and won't till things change. I'm a bit late on the Shad news since I normally email the show rather early. While I was never the biggest fan of Crime Time, I did use their narrator as a text tone from one of my cousins who's done some, well, let's say, devious things in the past. R.I.P. Shad, a true hero. On to video games. What video game do you think should have gotten a sequel but never got one? For me, it's always been Sleeping Dogs. So much pot for a continued story that never came to be. As far as games that hasn't been explored that should be, I wanted an action-adventure X-Men game, much akin to the Arkham series. To anyone who likes wrestling games, do you plan on picking up the Retromania game dropping later this year? Is jacking off a sport? Crazy story, Marcus.
Wow. What?
Wow.
God.
That is a question, but
How'd you transition into that?
well, because I'm reading the email and it says it's jacking off a sport ? Next line, crazy story, Marcus. I hope you didn't have to see that. There was the story of the cleaning guy at my old job. He went upstairs, but instead of going in a stall, he did it in the hallway. Cell phone in one hand, penis in the other. He was caught because the seafood manager came to work early because of inventory and boom, saw the deed being done. Poor guy had to see that and report him. In closing, to all your dumbasses flocking to beaches just because they're opening, what are you doing? The blue hell is wrong with y'all. In closing, I remain that guy buying custom masks to match his socks. I'm staying my ass at home, but man...
I know what the jacket off referred. Remember when I was talking about the dude that got caught in the stall?
Yes.
At the casino, I was jacking off. Yeah, I realized when he said that. I was like, yeah, worst story of my life. I thought he was out of there. I thought he was out. Anyway, should I share the story or should I just leave it as it is?
No, I thought you
covered the story.
I thought you covered the story on the last episode, Marcus.
Oh, maybe I did.
Manny, you're more of a gamer than Marcus is. Is there a game that needs a sequel that never got one?
I think the one he mentioned was the one I was probably hoping for. I've played that game through about 3 times. It's probably one of the most in-depth storylines and open worlds that isn't Grand Theft Auto.
I just want to point out, I have that game in plastic in the chest.
You need to play it. It's a good game.
Wes, are there any games that needed a sequel that you played that... Or do you still play games? Or have you quit like Marcus?
I just bought Spider-Man. As far as sequel-wise, all the games I played, they came out with a sequel. You know, GTA and Metal Gear Solid, where I used to play my old PS1 and PS Vita, I guess. They need to come out with Madden for the Switch. That's all they need to do.
They kind of do. You got to switch, Wes.
Yes.
Oh, man, a man with a Switch. I appreciate that because these other two guys don't get no damn Switches.
Well, they don't keep them in stock anymore, especially after people been looting.
Oh, he got a case and everything. All black controllers, all black. He got the stealth edition of a Switch. Marcus, are there any sequels that you need?
Yes, you got to.
No, I think everything I've ever played had a sequel. I feel like every video game has a sequel. And if you don't know the sequel, it's out there somewhere. It just didn't do very well. The only thing I can suggest is, I know it had a sequel, but if they would update it and put it on something that's more reasonable, I'm going to say, let's go with Shenmue for 500. I believe there was a Shenmue 2, 3, 4, maybe a 7.
Marcus,
but
I just want to let you know Shenmue has been remastered and it has been released on all the updated consoles right now.
Well,
Why would you want to play that? That was like a 400-hour game.
That's what I was into. That was the life I was into. 400 hours of video game play.
I agree with Jonathan.
3 discs. You got to go through 3 discs.
Jonathan says the Switch is the greatest. I do agree with that one. If I had my Switch handy, I would save my friend code out over on the air because I need more friends. Although I am off that Animal Crossing. I'm off that Animal Crossing crack right now.
You putting that AC in your video?
No, I'm about to jump my new crack right now when I get it on the 2nd from Amazon is Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. It's gonna be about $400.
I'm playing solitary right now.
That's good, Marcus, because you all buy. So Marcus, that's why I'm gonna go to you first. Mark, I'll go to you first then. It's jacking off a sport.
Well, Jonathan also asked, how do you win?
How do you win and what?
The jacket off sport.
Who shoots the biggest load? You go distance.
I believe it's up to the judges to decide.
I think we lost Wes, so thank you, Wes, for joining us for almost 3 hours worth of the show. I don't know what happened to him, but he's not here anymore.
Well, we're talking about jacking off.
Yeah, you know.
I want to hear that.
No one does. Marcus, a listener asked the question, and we had to give them the answer to the question.
Ski.
Well, anyway.
My jacking off tournament is coming up soon. We're going to do it on Zoom. Check us out.
No.
Come and see us.
No.
Should I read out my email?
Go ahead, Manny.
So this is from my mate Al. He's promoting a movie. He wants to get it made. It's about substance abuse, and obviously he'll go into further detail because better than I will. So he starts the email. Hey guys, I know you guys want to talk about the lighter side of wrestling entertainment, from the bright costumes to the brighter personalities, daring moves and awesome storylines. But the darker side of the sport rears its ugly head, and so often it does so through drug and alcohol abuse. Like every other kid in the 90s, I grew up watching Triple H, Steve Austin, and my personal favorite, Kurt Angle. Now, as I look through the names of wrestlers lost to addiction, it breaks my heart. Eddie Guerrero in particular always seemed superhuman to me. To think that he lost a battle with his own inner demons makes me feel vulnerable. Truthfully, there is help out there, and wrestling fans need to understand that the hero they have inside themselves can have just as big an impact on their own lives as wrestling can, maybe even more. Eric, I'm just realizing how reading emails is very difficult.
I'm glad. And I was thinking, I was like, I hope he realized what I have to go through. I mean,
there's a reason why I don't do it.
And then,
because I can't read.
So that is what I want to do with Anonymous, a feature-length movie set in real time on a night when a seemingly average man finally decides to confront his demons. It is a decision that will test him more than he expects it to, but will also give him the chance to find a strength he had no idea that he had. I want to make a film that is awesome and entertaining and beautifully lit, written and acted, but more than that, I want to make a film that affects people and saves lives. Before we can make that film, we need to finance it, and because of the tender nature of the project, we can't go down traditional financing routes. We need to self-finance. In order for this to happen, we need to raise money through crowdfunding, and as such, have set up a link at an Indiegogo site where anyone can contribute. I'll put the link on the Facebook page. Anything you can contribute would help us reach our goal, but it would also help if you share the link around. It is about raising awareness first and foremost. Thanks for taking the time to listen. Al.
Thank you, Al, for sending that message in. Manny, if you can do this, I know you're going to put it on our Facebook page, but also put into our chat, because I believe that the chat does replay if someone watches the video, and they might can see where the link is at for them to click. I can also put the if you can give me something to copy and paste, maybe I can put it into the description inside of the live feed. You know, we can help Al out. You know, everyone. Let me get Marcus, go first. I got to collect my thoughts.
I believe, you should support the movie and substance abuse. If you like this episode, we covered substance abuse when we were talking about Jeff Hardy in the SmackDown segment. I mean, I feel like that would have been the best segue to talk about it. If you would have jumped in, it was like, damn, Jeff Hardy found in. Yeah, you know what? Substance abuse is bad. Bang! We go into the pitch of the email. We would have had it, but we don't.
You realize how poorly I read that email as well.
See now Manny is being all self-conscious and stuff like, man, I just read to all 80-something viewers of this show right now over internet forever. And you know, that's how I felt for over 693 episodes every time I read it. Well, actually more like 685, because the first couple of episodes we didn't have any emails. But with that being said,
I felt like that when you talk, I hear the Dizman talk, Eric. I feel the Dizman talk, or Classic D, or Chris, or John from Brooklyn. You become that person, Eric. It's like they possess your body and then you read what their emotions and their feelings. And I believe 110% when you read those emails. You know, good.
Mark,
you ain't as good as me.
When I read the emails, I do try to invoke a different character voice for each individual. It's almost back to that very special episode when we recorded A Christmas Carol, and
Oh, I thought you were gonna say a special episode when Trudy got caught in the fridge.
Who?
What's his name? Trudy from Punky Brewster?
It's Cherry, man.
I forgot her name. Fuck her.
Anyway, Al, what I was trying to say, I love supporting people who want to do stuff that is creative, because right now you should be creative, and this world needs a little bit more happiness, and we need a little bit more of awareness put out there. So hopefully your project can get funded, and maybe by mentioning it on the show, you can get a couple of bucks towards that goal. But at the same time,
Manny, what is the GoFundMe page called again?
It's Indiegogo.
Indiegogo. I'll send you the link. I'll put it in the YouTube chat at the moment, and I'll put it on the Facebook in a minute.
But my only advice to you, Al, is don't let what you don't have limit you from using what you do have. You might not have the best actors, you might not have the best camera and stuff, but if you have a story, trust me, you could make something that someone else might see and then give you the budget to make the true thing that you want to make. So don't stop your creativity because you don't have the means to do it. Trust me, when we started, Marcus and I were just yelling into an iMac computer with no microphone, and
I'm still doing that.
Well, now Mark, you actually yell into a Mac Mini. I just think you don't let your dreams be stomped on by anybody. Just go out there and do what you can do and do your best. And that's all I have from there. All right, message is out. So we hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast. I would like to thank Jonathan Washington for being a part of the live stream and participating in the chat. Greatly appreciate that someone is out there actually watching the live chat. Please, if you have some time between 11 a.m. Pacific time to possibly 2:30, 3 o'clock, come and spend some of that time with us on your Saturday morning and join and talk about wrestling or whatever the hell you want to talk about. It's a fun time. It got my mind off of everything else. Had a good time. About to go eat a mushroom salad with some baby spinach as Marcus judges me for not on this 10-day fix that I'm on right now. And what can I say? Mark,
I just want to say the stuff you're posting on Instagram and your story does look delicious, even though I probably wouldn't eat it myself.
No, see, that is the craziest thing about it. It's actually is really delicious. And the one of the favorite dishes until the black bean burger last night was the mushroom mashed potatoes with arugula salad. Because if you look at the picture, it looks like it's a piece of steak. But that is a fucking mushroom, and it was so delicious. Although I can't wait to Thursday when I can have a big ass hamburger. But what can I say?
Yeah, everything you do post does look delicious, and it makes me sick that I'm not that I'm here eating garbage. I'm eating garbage, and I can be eating healthy, and it looks good too. But I'm eating garbage. But the lack of me not being able to cook is a real hazard to my healthy eating.
I feel like a part of me wants to come and pick you up, Marcus, so you can try what we have on dinner for tonight. It is stuffed bell peppers with quinoa and black-eyed peas stew. It should be amazing.
And I love my black-eyed peas because, they got the boom, boom, pow.
They do have the boom, boom, pow.
I don't need your applause.
How long were you thinking about that?
Huh? 10 seconds, maybe less. Less. It was probably less than that. As soon as he said black eyed peas, and my brain went boom, boom, wah, dum, 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 wah. I'm gonna get boom, boom, wah. When you talk about him.
Wow.
I don't even know the words to the song.
On that note, I think that's the end of this show. Thank you, Manny, for joining us. Thank you, Wes. Marcus, you're not so thankful.
Yeah, I don't need your things.
I hope everybody enjoyed this episode, and hopefully we can get this right. I'm Eric.
I'm Lord Manny Hayes. Like and subscribe.
I am Marcus the grand finale. And be safe out there. And if you gotta burn something down, make sure it's in your own backyard.
What kind of advice is that?
Burn your own shit up. Don't burn anybody else's up.
Why are you putting in more CO2 into the atmosphere?
Oh well, yeah. I mean, LA has a history of bad air, and it's been clean for the past 3 months. I wonder why, but if people, I'm just saying, if angry people, if they want to riot, do it in your own backyard. If you want to protest, you get out in them streets and you speak your voice. All right, be respectful in these streets.
Message from
sons of bitches.
And Wes says I'm Wes and be more. I mean, Marcus, as a I was gonna leave it. Hope you guys enjoyed this show. Until next time.
Stay safe, everybody. Stay safe.
Stay sharp.
You sure you don't want to say anything about Alexa Bliss to keep the show afloat to get like.